third time in the two games this year. Very different. Red Storm won the first game by double figures at home, lost by 32 the second time around in a game that, as Scott Graham and PJ Carlissimo just described, PJ said, forget about it. Nobody misses shots for 18 straight minutes like St. John's did in the 72-40 loss. But Rick Pitino's not forgetting about it, but he is proud of how his team is playing.
You know, we're playing good basketball right now. I've been impressed so many segments of this season with the way we responded against Connecticut for Villanova, the way we responded at Seton Hall to get that victory with a lot on the line, and the way we responded tonight. So we're proud of our guys. We know we have a road ahead of us. It's going to be very difficult, and we'll just take it one game at a time.
St. John's at the moment predicted to be anywhere in that 4 through 6 range by most folks who do brackets for, well, a living. So we'll see where they are if they win tonight. They have never won back-to-back Big East tournament titles, trying to do that tonight with a win over UConn. On the other hand, Danny Hurley's squad, look, a lot of people were looking forward to this game. He's kind of looking forward to this game.
I just think both programs like really pushed each other the whole year. I mean, we're a 29-win team. They're a 27-win team. I mean, you know, two of the best teams in the country. I mean, obviously it's it's going to be a death match for the Big East championship, but it's also too. I think it's, you know, both of us have really delivered for this league in a year where this league needs a game like this tomorrow night that, you know, everyone that's a basketball fan is going to be dialed into. So, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's, you knew there was going to be a third round, and here we are.
Well, he's right about that. The Big East going to get just 3 teams in this year's field. Villanova will join UConn and St. John's. Very different than what it has been in the past, but we'll see how those 3 teams do once the tournament gets going later this week. It is the Red Storm and the Huskies to tip it all off. Also underway, Big 12 championship. They've just gotten going in Kansas City, Arizona, and Houston. Top 2 seeds there. Mountain West title game, top 2 seeds. Utah State, San Diego State. They're about 5 minutes in. Utah State leading San Diego State by 1. When we return, back to Scott Graham, PJ Carlissimo will tip things off in Madison Square Garden. Get it all going. This is Westwood One's coverage of the Big East Championship.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation. Because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
Furnished by Food Allergy Research and Education.
You can't protect what you don't love. You can't love what you don't know.
For nearly 150 years, American Humane Society has been a promise and a guiding light in the world of animal welfare. Our commitment to rescuing, caring for, and protecting animals sets a gold standard in care and compassion. As pioneers in the field, we've grown into a global authority, trusted to lead the way in nearly every arena of animal protection. Our innovative programs touch the lives of over 1 billion animals each year, spanning conservation, humane farming, filmed entertainment, zoos and aquariums, service dogs, military, rescue, and working animals. Our science-based certification programs are a seal of approval that is not easily earned. We are the guardians of those who cannot speak for themselves. Join us, and together, we will create a more humane world.
The world's most famous arena bursting with excitement as we get ready for the Big East Championship game tonight between the UConn Huskies and the St. John's Red Storm. And BJ, you take a look at what UConn has done. There have been times when they've shown some of their best basketball. There's other times where they've kind of done what they've needed to do to win a game. What do they have to do to win here?
They have to show their best basketball without question. got to defend without fouling. St. John's one of the best in the country, getting you to the free throw line. You've got an excellent defensive team, but they have to do it without putting the Red Storm on the line. They always have to value the ball. St. John's offense is predicated on all those turnovers and what they're able to do with their defense, so UConn has got to value the ball.
Now, on the other side, St. John's has lost once in the last 19 games. It was that awful experience for them up in Hartford. They seem to have taken that and swept it under the rug. Is St. John's playing their best basketball right now?
Yeah, I think they are. I don't think there's any question. I think putting Dylan Darling in the starting lineup was an excellent move. They're playing as well as they've played. But what they need to do today is defend the three-point line. Not that Connecticut is a great three-point shooting team, but for both of these teams, it's going to be a challenge to score in the half court. So they got to manufacture some points. And the other thing St. John's needs to do is win the boards. I know that sounds crazy because they're such a good offensive rebounding team, but they need to be, because they got to find some extra points, be it free throws, be it second chance points, or be it points off turnovers.
The opening tip-off is coming up for UConn and St. John's. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it, because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Back at Madison Square Garden, where they're hanging from the rafters and the lights are down, the strobes are on, and the starting lineups being finished for both teams. Let's check those starting five for both squads. Sponsored by Five Guys. Upsets, overtime, buzzer beaters. It's championship week. Ride it out with Five Guys consolation fries. Fresh cut and piled high. They deliver every time. The UConn Huskies are 29-4. Their lineup looks this way. Solo Ball, junior out of Leesburg, Virginia, averages almost 14 points per game. That is one of the three-guard rotation. Silas Demery Jr. also in the backcourt. He's a first-team All-Big East player. Does it all. 11 points, 4.5 boards, and better than 6 assists per game. And freshman Braylon Mullins averaging 12 points and 3 boards per game, coming off 21 last night against Georgetown. Up front, it's Alex Caravan, the winningest UConn player of all time, averaging almost 13 points and 5 rebounds per game. And Terrace Reed Jr. He is a big part of what's going to happen here. A senior 6'11" out of St. Louis, Missouri, averaging 13.5 points and 8 rebounds. The head coach is Dan Hurley. 345 career wins, 194 of them at UConn. For St. John's, 27-6 on the year. It looks this way. They go with 2 guards. Dylan Darling back in the starting lineup now. Junior out of Spokane, Washington, 7 points, a couple of rebounds and assists per game. He is joined in the backcourt by Isaiah Sellers, senior out of Hayward, California, averaging 10.5 points and 3 rebounds. Then 3 forwards. Dylan Mitchell, who was key last night for his team in the first half of their game against Seton Hall. Senior 6'8", 210 out of Tampa, Florida, averaging 8 points and 7 rebounds. Up front, it's a 2-headed monster. Bryce Hopkins, grad student, 6'7", 225, averages 13.5 and 6 rebounds. And Zuby Ejiofor, the player of the year in the Big East, 16.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game. The head coach is the Hall of Famer Rick Pitino. He's now won 912 games in his head coaching career. Your officials for tonight, James Breeding, Pat Driscoll, and Mike Roberts, a veteran crew. And I'm not lying when I say they're hanging from the rafters here right now. There is all kinds of sizzle and excitement. Of course, a home game of sorts, or more than of sorts for St. John's. But remember, UConn folks call this place Store South.
Well, it's not the home court that St. John's has for sure. But again, this tournament, these teams, it's so special to get to. I was lucky enough to coach in 2 Big East finals. To play a Big East championship game in the tournament in this building is as good as it gets, Scott. I'm really looking forward to this. I just hope these 2 teams play up to their potential, because if they do, we're going to have one of the better Big East finals of all time.
UConn's won this tournament 8 times, tied with Georgetown for most ever. St. John's trying to win it back-to-back years for the first time in school history. The Red Storm are in the home white with the red and blue trim. Connecticut in the traveling navy blue with the red and white trim. Red trim around white numerals and letters across the chest. You can hear it. You can feel it. I wish you could see it. We are ready to go on Saturday night here at Madison Square Garden for the Big East Championship. And a clash of the Titans begins with the tip-off controlled by no one. It goes out of bounds over by the UConn bench. And they're going to say the ball belongs to St. John's, going from our right to our left.
That's pretty much the way they will scramble after every loose ball, both of these teams.
It is Bryce Hopkins inbounding the ball. It'll be in the hands of Dylan Darling, a left. The left-hander takes it to the top of the circle, throws back behind for Hopkins. Now Ejiofor. Offense runs through the big man. Up on top. Spins in toward the lane. Lost the ball. Got it back. Shot clock at 5. Up on top for Hopkins. Shot clock at 3. Feeding the post. Turnaround shot. Ejiofor hits it from 10 feet away.
Took a long time to get Zuby the ball. That was what they wanted to do, but it worked out.
And that is the first time that UConn has trailed in this Big East tournament. Neither team had trailed coming in. First offensive set for UConn, and they get it down to Reed on the right block. Working on Ejiofor. That's a battle. Spinning. Shot. Left hand up. No good. Too strong. Ejiofor down with a rebound for St. John's. Now Mitchell up ahead. Both of these teams average a lot of points per game, and a long three-pointer for Isaiah Sellers, who was 0 for 7 from 3 in 2 games against UConn this year. He makes it a 5-0 game. Here's Solo Ball being bothered as he comes across half court, as UConn gets into what are extensive offensive sets. Demery down in the left corner, trying to get it into the big man, and finally does. Here's Reed, once again backing his way in, going to work on Ejiofor. Pumps one, shot up short, and the rebound comes down to Dylan Mitchell. Johnny's can run, and it is Hopkins driving, but he has it knocked away. Great play by the freshman, Braylon Mullins. Back the other way, Demery driving. He has it poked away and stolen by Dylan Darling. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. 5-0 St. John's early. 2 minutes in. Along the inside, it's Mitchell. Flipping back outside, and a long three-pointer, no good for Sellers. But contact on the play and a foul call on Solo Ball, who had early foul trouble in the game and limited play in the first half last night. That's a foul that UConn simply does not want to have, as Sellers is going to go to the line for 3 shots.
Well, they got away with it yesterday. They will not get away with it today if they have to play extended minutes without Solo Ball. UConn's gotten the ball inside both times to Tarish Reed, although late in the clock, and he was unable to finish. Zuby Ejiofor got it late in the clock, and he was able to finish for St. John's.
Sellers a great free throw shooter at 85%. Makes the first 2, still 1 more coming. That shot is good. He's got 6 of his team's 8 points here in the early going. Or I should say 9 points. This is a 9-0 run to begin the game for St. John's. No, it was 8. I thought I was right the first time, Coach.
You were.
Now, math wasn't my thing.
Just seeing if anybody's paying attention.
On the outside, it's Demery. Into the hands of Caravan, right side foul line extended. Wanted a pick and roll that wasn't there. Back to Demery, shot clock at 10. Demery with the dribble, bothered by Hopkins. Back behind the Mullins. St. John's really extending on defense. Mullins misfires on a three and missed everything, but the ball went out of bounds off of St. John's. Now, it missed everything, so no change in the shot clock. It's at 2.1 as UConn will inbound from the baseline.
UConn is really struggling to get into their offense. St. John's has them playing way out on the perimeter.
This is how St. John's defended against Providence in the first half.
That's how they started the first two games, really.
Yep. Mitchell defending the inbound. UConn trying to get it in. We're going to get a 5-second call. Demery couldn't find a man to inbound it to. All the early momentum right now belongs to St. John's.
They not have a worse start if you're Connecticut. They're very tentative on offense, and they're not having any success slowing down St. John's on this end of the floor.
Ejiofor with the ball in his hands now as the Red Storm tries to extend the run. Hands off for Hopkins in between the circles. Now the handoff for Darling. Up on top, crossover dribble. Drive, shot on the way, and it's around and good. Darling found a good spot over solo ball and makes it a 10-0 run to start it for St. John's. Demery just being hounded by Darling as he crosses half court. St. John's is up in their face on every pass. And the shot by Demery on the drive is blocked away by Ejiofor.
Good penetration, better help by Zuby.
Here's Mitchell, driving, shot up, no good. Tip rebound. Who's going to control it? It's Ejiofor. Takes it inside. His shot up, no good. And the tip rebound belongs to Caravan for UConn. If that one had gone, the roof might have come off this place.
Well, St. John's is a step quicker than Connecticut so far.
Here's Reed inside, spinning, and he's going to get called for an offensive foul as he made contact with Ejiofor, and Ejiofor sold it as he hit the deck. And it worked. That's foul number 1 on Terrace Reed and number 2 on UConn, who are still scoreless.
They got foul number 2 because Zuby fouled him first. Then they called the second foul, the offensive foul. That's a tough call against UConn early.
It would be hard for me to believe that somebody who's 6'9" and 245 could have been shoved back quite that hard.
No, he initiated the contact. Danny Hurley's all over Mike Roberts down on the baseline complaining about that call.
There's something new. 16:08 to go here in the first half. Darling wants a three. It's too strong, and the rebound down in one hand to solo ball. Ball takes it across for UConn. Try for their first point. Ball driving, shot up. Good in the foul. He's a left-hander, but went to the right hand as he drove down the lane. And he's going to have a chance at a three-point play as the Huskies get on the board. Timeout on the floor with 15:55 left to go in the first half. And UConn finally is in the scoring column. It's St. John's 10, UConn 2. This is Westwood One's coverage of the Big East Championship.
Science is not an opinion. People come before pipelines. It's not too late to act on climate. No one is above the law. At Earth Justice, we hold these beliefs to be self-evident. As a national legal nonprofit fighting for your right to a healthy environment, we are 150-plus lawyers representing clients free of charge because now, more than ever, the Earth needs a good lawyer. No one fights more cases on the environment than Earth Justice. And we win because these are fights we cannot lose. We win for scientists so they can serve at the EPA. We win at the Supreme Court because clean water is for everyone. We win against fossil fuel plants so communities can breathe freely. If you believe what we believe, then help us fight the good fight and help us keep winning by going to earthjustice.org today. That's earthjustice.org.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality healthcare and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
Scott Graham, PJ Carlissimo here at our Granger broadcast position at Madison Square Garden. For the ones who get it done, there's Granger, offering professional-grade products for your industry, next-day delivery, and free technical support. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. A 10-2 start for St. John's, and for the Johnnies, 3 for 6 from the floor, PJ. That means that is one more made field goal than the last half they played against UConn. That game that was played up in Hartford on February 25th, the second half, St. John's was 2 for 28 from the floor.
Bob, as you mentioned, that game was an aberration. Turnovers getting UConn in trouble tonight. 3 turnovers already in 3 different kinds. They've got an inability to get the ball in bounds. They had a 5-second call. They went late in the clock when it wasn't there, and they got an offensive foul also for a turnover. So those turnovers have hurt. St. John's got 5 points off the turnovers. Meantime, UConn 1 for 5, and almost every possession has gone late into the shot clock. They're getting the ball with like 2-3 seconds on the clock and having to manufacture a shot.
All right, so Solo Ball just hit a shot. He's going to have a free throw coming here to try to get the 3rd point for UConn, but you've known Dan Hurley forever. In that huddle right now, with St. John's extending out defensively and getting in their face, challenging every pass and every screen, what are you telling your team to do?
Well, they got to be more composed than they are right now, and maybe less passing, believe it or not, more dribbling, attack. They're overplaying all over the place. They've got the offense extended out very high, and I think that maybe a couple players just beat your own man off the dribble, but you got to be careful. The one time that they went in and got a shot, Zuby erased it.
Now, Ball did hit on that layup and now hit the free throw, so it's a 10-3 ball game as St. John's attacks the basket on our left. Darling throwing it inside. Sellers squares and hits on a 10-footer.
Wow. How about Isaiah Sellers, the way he started?
He was 4 for 16 against UConn in the first 2 games. But he has been marvelous to begin it. Now driving, Demery shot erased by Hopkins.
Well, there's the penetration we talked about, and that's the second time Zuby has helped him block the shot.
It wasn't Hopkins, it was Edgefor. UConn got it back, and Reed on the inside missed on his shot from close, but got the offensive rebound. Put back falls out of his hands and into the hands of St. John's. Here they come.
Weak shot by Terrace Reed.
From the corner, shot no good for Sellers, and the rebound tapped into the hands of the freshman Braylon Mullins for UConn. Quickly into the forecourt. Doesn't want to let him set defensively, but a no-look pass was not a good pass, and it's stolen by St. John's. Here comes Darling. They're playing quickly, too. Edgefor, good position. Turnaround shot is good. Over the top of Alex Caravan. It's 14-3 St. John's.
4 points off turnovers. St. John's loves to post up Zuby Edgefor quickly in transition.
Hard to throw a knockout punch 5 minutes in, and we got a foul call. Now as Darling tried to fight around his screen, he's called for the personal. And the first on St. John's here in the game.
Well, there's no question who the aggressor has been in the game. Connecticut very much back on their heels and struggling to either dribble or initiate the offense with the pass.
Sorry, second team foul on St. John's. One on Dylan Mitchell as well. So off the inbound from the near side. Demery finds a cutter. It's Caravan. He's driving, flings the ball. I think it was a pass to the other side of the basket to Reed. Reed inside. Shot up and good. He finally found room against Edgefor inside.
He also waited and made a stronger shot. He's been kind of burping up the ball quickly. That time he kind of waited, made a stronger attempt.
14-5 St. John's, and a near steal by Demery, who flicked it right over at our producer, Larry Costigan. It's going to stay St. John's way, and the Johnnies are going to inbound literally from right in front of us.
Larry was open.
He was. Larry's usually open.
Well, there's a reason sometimes non-shooters, you don't have to guard them.
14-5. St. John's on top. 13:45 to go here first half. Jackson to Ejiofor in the lane. Wanted the bounce pass. Wasn't there. Throw through to the far side. Stepping back. Sanin nails a three-pointer. No, they're going to say foot on the line. It's two. Was right in front of the UConn bench. It makes it a 16-5 game.
You may take a look at that. The scoreboard, the official score is saying 2-4. Now they just changed it to 1-3. Good call.
Down to the inside. They find Reed, and this time Reed straight down the lane, jams it home.
But they do not want to switch Zuby Ejiofor off Tarish Reed. I'm not sure anybody else is strong enough to defend Reed inside.
16-7 ball game. 13 minutes to go in the half. And now inside, Hopkins spins one in between two defenders.
Yeah, he just beat Alex Caravan. He spun, went right by him, and finished at the rim.
St. John's on fire here early. 18-7 the score. Johnny's are 7 for 11 from the floor. Caravan catch and shoot three, and it's off on the left side. Big time rebound, though, and the putback is there. It was Demery who hit it, but Ross who got the offensive glass for the putback for UConn. And now a technical foul is being called on UConn.
There's no question that was going to happen. James Breeding was upset early. And that call in the beginning of the game was Mike Roberts that made the call, but Danny came way out on the floor. And James Breeding said to him, back off. Danny's still getting on Mike Roberts. I knew it was a matter of time before James Breeding was going to call it.
Dan Hurley took off his jacket. He's put it back on. He's trying to talk to the officials who are not listening right now as Ian Jackson, the 91% shooter, hits the first of the two foul shots for the technical foul. Dan Hurley teed up here, less than 8 minutes in. Jackson misses the second, so it's 19-9, and the ball belongs to St. John's.
Tarish Reed Jr. just went over to James Breeding and asked, Danny told him to ask why he got a technical foul, and I could see James Breeding kind of mimicking Danny, stamping his feet and walking out on the court. That was coming. That was coming for about 2 minutes. Breeding tried to walk away early.
He is staring Breeding down right now, who's standing right in front of us. Dan Hurley is hot right now. Team down 10. St. John's trying to expand that lead. 12.5 left here in the first half. With the Big East Championship on the line tonight. It's Jackson. Throwing to the top for Hopkins. Hopkins back behind for Sanin. Sanin picks up the dribble, back to Hopkins. He'll take it down the left side. Crossover dribble into the lane. Shot up and good. What a play. He lost his footing and managed to correct and lay it home.
Wow. A lot of contact, no call.
21-9. Biggest lead in this first half for St. John's. Here's Ross on the outside for Caravan. One touch to the corner. And now back to Caravan, who tries the three, and it's no good. Rebound one-handed by Hopkins, who now leads his team up the floor. Here's Mitchell flying it in for the left side. He jams it home. It's 23-9 St. John's. And a timeout called for by Dan Hurley, whose team right now, PJ, is in a 14-point hole.
Yeah, he wanted to wait for the media timeout, and he couldn't. Dylan Mitchell is not a very good perimeter shooter, but he is an excellent open floor player. No one slowed him down in transition.
Dan Hurley is staring down James Breeding, who just turned his back and walked away. 11:33 left to go first half, and it's all St. John's right now. Red Storm 23, UConn 9. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
When I wake up, the best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. I pull on my jeans and I feel all right. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Kohl's gets it. Instant gratification is the best. Like waking up to freshly brewed coffee, hitting every green light on the way home, or getting instant Kohl's Cash. This weekend only, get $10 Kohl's Cash to use right away when you spend $25 or more. No waiting, no forgetting, no patience required. Offers end March 15th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora at Kohl's. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
When I wake up, the best mornings in the morning light start with Wrangler. I put on my jeans and I feel alright. Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Later on, we'll select the player of the game, sponsored by CarShield. Don't let a breakdown bust your bracket. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs, keeping you in the action. Go to carshield.com. The easiest call you'll make all tournament. Again, that's carshield.com. Well, this has been all St. John's. 9 for 13 from the floor. And right now, their biggest lead of the first half, 23-9 over UCONN. The Huskies head coach Dan Hurley has already been teed up, so we've got an undercurrent of drama going on here. And now, an emissary getting sent over to James Breeding to try to settle this thing down.
Well, they've already thrown gas on the fire. The problem was Danny was upset with Mike Roberts early, and that's who he was yelling at. And James Breeding took it upon himself to try and rein Danny in, even though Danny was not yelling at him. And eventually Danny pushed back, and we got the technical foul. You hate to see that early. Kamani Young, associate head coach, talking to James Breeding right now, but that situation is not going to change. Bigger problem for St. John's is their offense has been very, very tentative. Alex Caravan been there as long as he has. He's got to step up and do something, or when Terrace Reed gets back on the floor, he's got to establish an inside presence because their perimeter people are having no luck whatsoever beating the St. John's defenders off the dribble or in initiating the offense.
Freshman Eric Ryba, the 7-footer, comes in off the bench to begin as we get back to play. UConn attacking the basket on our right. Quick ball movement this time for Ross, who throws back behind for Caravan, right corner. Now they reverse it. Solo ball, took a look at it. Gets it for Ross. Ross throwing it inside for the 7-footer. Ryba made the catch, but a foul call before he ever secured the ball. It's going to be on Josan Sanin, who had a distinct height advantage and was fighting for position inside.
Yeah, if Ryder had caught it cleanly, he would have been able to shoot it and dunk it. They're giving him 2 shots.
Wow. And I don't think the
refs are
Pitino
going to
likes
talk
that at all.
about it.
Rick Pitino's pleading his case, but it's going to be Ryba, just a 52% shooter going to the line to shoot 2. The left-hander's first one is good. March Madness is coming to a court near you. Experience it live as the nation's best college basketball teams compete for a chance to cut down the nets. Secure your seats today at ncaa.com/MBB tickets. Ryba hits the second. Trying to stop the bleeding now. It's 23-11, a 12-point lead for St. John's.
Gonna need some stops on this end.
Oh, wow. Mitchell, you can't get more aggressive. Straight down the lane, high off the glass, and hit on the shot.
And to his left hand, which obviously is his strong side, you have to make Mitchell shoot the ball on the perimeter.
Malachi Smith in the game with his team down by 14. He's running the point now. On a drive, kicks to the corner. Caravan, catch and shoot. He got it. Alex Caravan averaged 16.5 in the 2 games against St. John's this year. That's a big shot for UConn.
That's what your veteran needs to do, particularly somebody that's had the kind of success that Alex Caravan has had throughout his career.
Ryba called for the foul on the entry pass to Ruben Prey, who's in the ball game. That'll be his first. 25-14, 10:32 left to go first half. You look at the 3 games St. John's has played here in Madison Square Garden in the Big East Tournament. Their combined score to begin games is 27-0.
Well, it's very difficult to simulate the kind of defensive pressure that you're going to see when you play against St. John's.
Here's Prey backing in. Jump hook shot too short. Got his own rebound. Kicks it outside, but the ball mishandled by Sadiku Ibinayo. He got it in his hand, but couldn't hang on to it.
He just lost it going up. Ball squirted out of his hands.
So UConn on the turnover will get it back.
We've got to get the ball inbounds first, which hasn't been easy for UConn so far.
Full court pressure. And they get it to Malachi Smith, who'll bring it up, working on Ian Jackson. Second turnover for St. John's. UConn's got 4 of them in the first 10 minutes. On the outside, it's Smith. Right side of the top of the circle, gets it the ball. Ball driving, and he's tripped up. And Satin just got his second foul. Ball going to the right hand. He's a left-hander naturally. And the second time, he's taken it hard down. Actually, the third time, he's taken it hard down the right side of the lane. And this time, he got tripped up.
It's 4 team fouls for each team right now. Underneath out of bounds for UConn, and again, it has been a challenge getting the ball in.
Sellers and Mitchell had been out there back on the floor now for St. John's as we prepare for the inbound from the near side baseline. Smith try to find a cutter, gets it in to Ryba, the big man. And now it's Caravan. Up on top, pick and roll. Ryba's shot is no good. It tickled the rim and fell off. And they're going to say it's a goaltending call.
Wow.
The basket counts.
I don't think so.
I don't think.
Got to look at the replay.
Oh, there's a slap of the glass as the ball was up there. That might have been the call. We're getting a look now.
Wide open on the pick and roll.
I think it was the slap of the glass as the ball was up on the rim.
Yeah, but slapping the glass has to vibrate the board to make it miss.
25-16, back to a 9-point game. Lower bowl all standing here at Madison Square Garden. Sellers bounce pass to Mitchell. He's stripped of the ball but gets it back on the baseline. And now his pass to the corner is flicked over the end line by Braylon Mullins. St. John's will keep it with a baseline inbound and 8 left on the timer.
Hey, Sellers has been the man so far for the Red Storm. 8 points.
Hopkins comes back in. Ibinayo back out of the ball game for the Red Storm.
8 on the shot clock.
Mitchell gets it into the hands of Hopkins. Looks at a 3. He'll take it and hit it. Rattles it home for the left side.
Bryce Hopkins has not been a very effective three-point shooter all year. Rick Pitino keeps saying he would like him to shoot more threes.
Jackson nearly got a steal. St. John's has hit 7 of their last 8. Rick Pitino up near half court in defensive stance. He wants his team to play defense, and it worked. A hook on a drive is going to be an offensive foul on Malachi Smith.
There's no question he reached around with his left hand and hooked the defender. I've actually been surprised throughout this tournament that hasn't been called very much. That used to be an automatic call. When you hook your defender, they always called it the offensive foul.
Dan Hurley gets Taris Reed back out on the floor. His team is stuck 12 here with 9:16 to go in the first half. Winner is the Big East champion. Both teams are on their way to the NCAA tournament, but UConn might be playing for a number 1 seed tonight.
Yeah, they caught a break with Florida getting upset in the Southeastern Conference semifinal.
Jackson up on top, comes back near side, ball flicked over the sideline on the pass to Sellers. Ross got a hand in the way, and it'll stay St. John's way with 7 left on the shot clock.
Jaden Ross is playing very well with Jalen Stewart out of the lineup. Jaden Ross, I think, is getting more minutes, and he's been impactful. He does a lot of good things on the floor for the Huskies.
And Rick Pitino sends Zuby Ejiofor back into the ball game. Ruben Prey will hit the bench. I don't know how you ever take him off the floor. Ejiofor's got the ball right now, up on top. Crossover dribble, drive, shot, up and good. And that's why. 30-16, St. John's.
Good substitution by Rick late in the shot clock. He wanted to get Zuby the ball, create some offense.
14-point lead for the Red Storm. Here's Caravan with 8.5 left in the half. Cross-court dangerous pass. Now gets the return pass, and a three is around and out. No good. Rebound falls into the hands of Dylan Mitchell. Quickly ahead. Alley-oop and Ejiofor on the feed from Bryce Hawkins. Hammers it home. St. John's has doubled up UConn. It's 32-16.
Zuby Ejiofor runs the floor so well, and St. John's loves to push it and get him the ball early.
UConn passing perimeter. Ross, deep corner three, right in front of the St. John's bench. There's the answer, makes it 32-19. As the ball rolls away, there's a whistle, but not a stoppage.
No, just to stop the clock. Danny Hurley can't believe they didn't make a foul call after the shot was released. There was a little bit of contact for Jaden Ross.
Ejiofor holds on top, hands back for Jackson. Jackson picks up the dribble, gets to Ejiofor, deep foul line, and he was trying to make a backdoor cut. Trying to save it was Demery, and he's going to get called for the foul. Not unlike a cornerback trying to take down a wide receiver who was open on a pass to the end zone.
Yeah, that's 16 fouls already for UConn. We still have a little bit north of 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Meantime, St. John's has only been whistled for 4 fouls.
7:34 precisely left to go until the break, and it's all St. John's still in this first half of the Big East Championship game. St. John's 32, UConn 19. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Class, today we're talking NCAA championships and life lessons. Schoolwork got you stressed? Feeling overwhelmed? Need a place to unleash a quick hearty yell? Yeah! You gotta get off the couch and join thousands of screaming fans for a heart-pounding in-person to believe NCAA championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Will this be on the test?
Oh, sweet child. This is the test.
Hey, sports fans, Kevin Kugler here, sportscaster for college basketball. And I have a special announcement from Five Guys. They know no bracket is safe this tournament season and want you to be prepared. Like when that pesky 12 seed upsets the 5. Or that school you never heard of turns your lock into a loss. Ouch. So when your bracket inevitably busts, don't cry. Stop at Five Guys and get some consolation fries. They'll make you feel like a winner again.
Jason Horowitz back with you in our Westwood One studios. Back to Madison Square Garden in a moment, but update you on the other championship games in progress. Arizona and Houston about to go to the half. Big 12 title game. Wildcats up 44-36 on last year's national championship runner-up. Meanwhile, in the Mountain West, top seed Utah State leading second seed San Diego State 34-33. Under a minute to go in the opening half. Utah State's a lock for the tournament. Some think the Aztecs have to get in, have to win this to get in. Remember, last year they played in the first 4, losing to North Carolina. As we go back to Scott Graham, PJ Carlissimo at the Garden.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Westwood One, your home for NCAA March Madness. You can stream every Westwood One basketball game for free, sponsored by LinkedIn Ads. Stop wasting ad budget on the wrong audience. LinkedIn Ads put your message in front of the right decision makers. Spend $250, get $250. Go to linkedin.com/college basketball. Terms apply. For a live stream, go to westwoodonesports.com or download the Westwood One Sports app today. The 8th meeting between St. John's and UConn in the Big East Tournament, the 3rd time it has been for the title. Previous 2 times were back-to-back years in 1999 and 2000, and they split them, with UConn winning in 99 and John's winning in 2000. This first half has been all Red Storm, shooting 72%. They've got a 32-19 lead with 7:34 to go till halftime.
Yeah, Zuby Ejiofor has just been too dominant inside for St. John's. Paris Reed is 2 for 6. Alex Caravan, their veteran wing, is 1 for 5. Those guys have got to step up for UConn.
Sellers, soft elbow jumper, won't fall, and the weak side rebound comes down to Jaden Ross for UConn.
Solo balls only attempted 1 shot. It's got 1 for 1 so far.
Here's Caravan, get it up on top for Reed. They go all the way to the far side of the floor for Demery. Demery uses his screen back to the middle, and now Mullins, who hasn't shot either. And his pass to the corner is thrown away. It was a bullet to Caravan, not a catchable pass. And Mullins reacts in a frustrated way. He knows that one's on him.
Yeah, I think he thought Alex Caravan was going to come out of the quarter a little bit higher, but he missed him by about 4 feet. That wasn't even close. That's a careless turnover.
6 of them in all now for UConn.
6 so far, and the points off turnovers really hurting Connecticut.
Here's Ejiofor handing off to Jackson, driving into the lane. Shot up off the rim, no good. Rebound tapped to Demery. And UConn back the other way. Demery is fouled as he gets to the top of the circle. He was about to make that hook move and possibly get called for the offensive, but Isaiah Sellers hit him first, and he's called for the personal foul.
The referee's kind of taking control of the game a little bit right now. They were letting him play a little bit more earlier. Both of these teams are physical on the defensive end. And truth be told, in a more competitive score game, both coaches would be happy with the refs just letting them go. Right now, you're not going to see that. UConn trying to dig out of a big hole, and Rick Pitino's upset because his defense has been dominant so far.
A foul on Sellers was his first, St. John's 5th. Teres Leotopoulos is now checked into the game for St. John's. UConn passing around the perimeter. Demery wants a 3 from up top. It's in and out. Rebound off the fingertips of Mitchell, but corralled by Ejiofor. Here comes the Red Storm into the forecourt.
No Connecticut players went to the offensive glass. I think they're more concerned with getting back in transition.
Ejiofor blocked away by Reed. Great defensive play by the UConn big man. Back the other way now for the Huskies. And Caravan feeds the post, but it's Ejiofor taking it away. Demery falls on the loose ball, but St. John's walks out of the pack with it.
Paris Reed was not open. Caravan tried to force it. That was really good defense, half around by Zuby Ejiofor.
5:53 to go till halftime. 32-19. St. John's on top. Here's Ejiofor, head of the circle, hands for Hopkins. Already has 1 3-pointer. Thinking about it. Now picks up the dribble and goes back the other way. Leotopoulos around the circle, inside, gets it to Ejiofor, and he is fouled by Reed. Reed picks up his 2nd foul, and Ejiofor will go to the free throw line now with a chance to shoot 2.
Good recognition by Lefteris Leotopoulos. He had Zuby Ejiofor inside, and unlike the previous possession on Connecticut's end, Paris Reed did not have good position. He was behind. Zuby had sealed him really well.
So Ejiofor, a 71% free throw shooter, fires and makes the first. Later on, we'll select the smart coaching move of the game, sponsored by Prevagen. Prevagen, made for your brain. You talk about a good look by Leotopoulos. It's almost never a bad look to at least look for Ejiofor on every possession.
No question about that. And Zuby's been dominant right now. He's very much getting the better of Paris Reed, and we probably will not see Paris Reed the rest of the half with those 2 fouls.
Made the second. Ejiofor's got 10. St. John's up 15. This is the biggest deficit UConn has seen all year. It's been as many as 16. They haven't trailed by more than 13 points in any game this year. Passing out of the perimeter, it's Mullins, the freshman, on Leotopoulos to the foul line. Turnaround jumper is short. Hit it right off the front of the rim, and the rebound falls into the lap of Dylan Mitchell. Mitchell shoveled back for Darling. Thought about a 3, head of the circle. Now goes far side for Leotopoulos. Now the bounce pass. Down on the block. Ejiofor has 2 men on him. They knock the ball away over the end line. St. John's will keep it with 15 left on the shot clock.
They worked on that this morning, UConn, at the shoot-around. When Ryba's playing him, they're going to come with the help. They would like to have Paris Reed play him one-on-one. And it's Ryba, they came with the help, even though Zuby was posted up pretty far off the box.
Right side, Mitchell now get it to a wide-open Darling. His 3-pointer way too strong. And the long rebound out for Mullins. He wants to run. got it to Ball. Three-pointer in transition. That shot is short. And the rebound for Leotopoulos, it's taken away, but by his own player. In the scrum, it was Ejiofor. Now they go back the other way, and an alley-oop jam for Dylan Mitchell. Darling to Mitchell makes it 36-19, St. John's. And UConn's going to call another timeout.
There was such a scramble for that loose ball on underneath the UConn basket. When Zuby Ejiofor picked it up and outlet it, there was no way. It was already a 2-on-1 break, became a 3-on-1 break. St. John's doing a really good job, not just off turnovers, but also off missed shots, running the floor. Last possession was probably the best run out that UConn had, but Solo Ball was unable to convert the shot.
So we've got 4:29 to go till halftime and a timeout on the floor. It is St. John's 36, UConn 19. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it, because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
What's the impact of hiring the right person for the job? Someone who simply doesn't fill a role but elevates it. Indeed Sponsored Jobs can help you connect with candidates who have the right experience and a proven track record. Find people who don't just complete tasks, they transform how work gets done. Don't leave hiring to chance. Sponsor your job posting on Indeed and match with the right candidates. Sponsor your job at Indeed.com/credit.
Oh, hello. It's me, the calculator that lives inside of TaxSlayer. I love numbers. Like 100, as in 100%, as in TaxSlayer's 100% accuracy, guaranteed. And 0, as in $0, as in it costs $0 to file and get the refund you deserve with TaxSlayer Simply Free, if you qualify. Simply Free is available to a limited number of taxpayers with age, income, credit, and deduction restrictions. See TaxSlayer.com for eligibility requirements. TaxSlayer, file fearlessly.
Along with former Seton Hall coach PJ Carlesimo, I'm Scott Graham. You're listening to Championship Week on Westwood One, presented by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE at Progressive.com. 36-19, St. John's came in with a knockout blow early, and they have held UConn at arm's length the entire half. The Huskies are 7 for 21 from the floor, shooting just 33%. And each attempt that they've made or opening that they've had, it seems to get back into the ball game. A couple of St. John's misses. They've not been able to convert.
Well, 3 block shots, the few times that UConn did beat the pressure, and you have to do that. When a team is overplaying you, like pretty much at all the positions, it means you have an opportunity to put it on the floor and beat them to the rim. 2 of the 3 times that Connecticut looked pretty good, looked like they had an advantage. Zuby Ejiofor just wiped it out by blocking the shot. So the combination of the turnovers, which have led to transition for St. John's, and their inability to really do any damage on the offensive glass, their offense has looked very, very tentative, and their defense is not helping at all. So as a result of that, UConn's inbounding the ball, taking the ball out of bounds a lot. When you're not playing good defense, it's really hard to get out in transition. They're not creating turnovers, and they're not getting a chance to run off misses because St. John's has been so dominant. I mean, they're still shooting 58%, St. John's in the field. That means you're taking the ball out of bounds way more than you want to.
Speaking of which, that's what Alex Caravan's going to do right now after the timeout from the near side sideline. Just watching a replay of that run-out dunk that brought us to the timeout. That was a thing of beauty in terms of the passing. 4 guys touching the ball, and it went from one end of the floor to another for a dunk in the blink of an eye.
Well, the outlet started it. They came up with that. Once they had the outlet to almost half court, it was already an advantage for St. John's.
Red Storm 10-1 all time as a top seed in this tournament. Trying to win it back-to-back years, something they've never done. UConn with the basketball. Trying to chop down some of this tree before halftime. If you weren't listening, 13's the biggest deficit they've had all year. They're down 17 right now. And you're going to get a foul call on the drive to the hole. Demery was taking the ball down the left side of the lane, and Leotopoulos will be called for the foul. That is 16 foul on St. John's. Both teams with 6 now. Check that. UConn with 7. Ball keys the inbound. It's a return pass as he comes onto the floor. He wants to get going. Drops it down inside for the big man. And shot off the glass and no good for Ryba. He missed a bunny. It was slightly contested.
Yeah, I think Mitchell got a piece of that going up.
Down with the ball. Here comes St. John's. Trying to expand already a colossal lead in this game. And Hopkins gets tied up by Demery. He was taking his first step to a drive. Demery got both hands on the ball. And because of the jump ball call, the possession arrow points UConn's way, and they'll get it back.
Now, if they get the ball inside again to Eric Robb, I think he's got to go up a little bit stronger, maybe flush it, but certainly take it stronger than he did in that previous possession.
Demery guarded by the much bigger Hopkins. Get it to Caravan, who's on the much smaller Darling. Now Caravan diving down the lane, pretty pass, and he lays it home.
Good slip of the screen, and Alex Caravan with the easiest shot he's had so far tonight.
That's the first UConn field goal in over 4 minutes. 36-21, St. John's by 15. 3:15 and counting now in the half. Ejiofor looping pass inside to no one. He was trying to get it to Hopkins, and Hopkins was tied up. He never even got a hand up to try to catch that pass.
Zuby looked at it too long. I mean, it's like a quarterback that never takes his eyes off a receiver. He just kept looking, and everybody knew what he was going to do. Bad decision.
Here comes ball off the inbound. Going 100 miles an hour and puts it up for a jam for Ryba. An alley-oop makes it a 36-23 game and a quick timeout for Rick Pitino.
Back-to-back mistakes. The pass by Zuby out of bounds, and then the transition. They got the ball in bounds behind the defense.
Timeout on the floor, 36-23. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Westwood One is once again your home for complete coverage of March Madness. From Selection Sunday until the nets are cut down, bring you live exclusive action of both the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments on the Westwood One Sports app and westwoodonesports.com. Smart timeout for Rick Pitino there, Coach?
Yeah, no question about it. I was actually going to say coming out of the last timeout at 4:29, a good goal would be to get it under 10. The way the way that Connecticut has just played in this last 30 seconds, I think they can go for more than that. They kind of feel like they've got Johns back on their heels for a change. On the full court pressure, they allowed a pass behind the defense, and then all of a sudden it was a 3-on-2 fast break. One of the few man-up opportunities Connecticut had the entire night.
So out of the timeout with the St. John's fans and the UConn fans in the lower bowl standing.
You would think this is going to end up in Zuby's hand before this possession is over.
Darling, right elbow is going to pull up, try the jumper. It's no good. Rebound tapped. Knocked out of bounds off St. John's. It's going back the other way to UConn.
Rick's motioning that one more pass and then get it in. Dylan Darling was open. It was a good shot, but kind of a big possession right there. You would think you want Zuby to take the shot.
Big time pressure on the inbound, and it's thrown away.
Reiber with the mistake.
Caravan never saw it coming. It bounced off his chest, and it goes back to St. John's. Now a kickball by Demery on the perimeter over the near sideline.
Well, I had to inbound the ball to Eric Reiber because nobody else was open, and rather than just catch it and find somebody open, he tried to touch pass it back to Caravan. He was just coming in bounds, never saw it coming.
Here's Darling off the inbound, in between the circles with a left-hand dribble, shuffles back behind for Hopkins. Hopkins on the left side. Trying an entry pass. It's not there for Ejiofor, but Mitchell is driving down the lane, missed the layup, but he is fouled on his way in.
Mitchell moves so well without the ball, and he's so quick and athletic. When he beats you on that back cut, there's really no help you can get there quick enough. Reiber tried, but Mitchell just kind of soared in over the top.
Soar is a great way to talk about it. He was a good foot and a half over the top of the rim as he misses on the first.
Well, that's his flaw. He's not a very good shooter.
Remind you to stay tuned for the halftime report with Jason Horowitz. Jason, we'll have all the scores from around the country of championship week. That is coming up at halftime. So Dylan Mitchell, the senior out of Tampa, the transfer from Cincinnati, was third team All-Big East this year. All defensive team and one of the best rebounders in the conference. Hits on the second.
Still the pressure. They're denying. They're face guarding the inbounder. That caused the turnover the last time.
And they got another one. Off the inbound. The steal and the lay-in is good for Ian Jackson. 39-23. St. John's matching their largest lead of the first half.
Well, there's your answer to that mini run by Connecticut.
And Jackson is called for a foul as he was locked up with Silas Demery just across half court. St. John's up over the limit, so Demery's going to shoot a 1-and-1 with 2:08 left to go here in the first half.
So that's the problem with having to foul Mitchell on that back cut, because it gives St. John's an opportunity, if you make the second free throw, which Dylan did, to pick up full court. And Connecticut has really struggled with that full court pressure.
Demery hits on the first. The Georgia transfer at his first year with UConn. First team All-Big East player and All-Big East defensive team player. He was the leading assist man in the conference.
Actually one of the top in the entire country.
Bends at the knees, fires the second free throw, and it's good. 39-25, 14-point game, 2:05 to go till halftime. St. John's with the lead and the basketball. Mitchell shovels for Jackson. Now playing catch with Darling just inside half court.
This is Zuby time against the freshman.
Mitchell catches up high. Now the high-low pass for Ejiofor. Back out to Mitchell. One touch to Jackson. And all the way to the near corner. A three-pointer way off by Dylan Darling. And UConn down with the basketball. Ball shovels for Ross. Back to Ball. Left corner three. It's no good. Tapped rebound all the way out to Demery. It was Caravan who kept it alive. Demery with 1:29 left on the clock here in the half. Going to work on Darling. Two tenacious guys. And a blocking foul after a collision. Darling is called for the personal. According to James Breeding, he did not have himself set. And that's going to be number 2 on Dylan Darling.
Almost gave the signal for a flop the way he did it, but there wasn't enough contact. James Breeding now allowing Leotopoulos to come in for Darling. Kind of a rare offensive rebound. They've been few and far between for UConn. When you realize they're not shooting the ball very well, there were more opportunities. That one there looks like it's going to pay some dividends.
That was a tap back from Caravan.
Yep.
So Demery, who just hit 2 at the line once again. Shot is up, shot is good. Demery's an 80% shooter. It's not a lot he does not do well.
He's a very, very tough player. We talked about his assists. I said he was good. He's 19th in the country, top 20 in the country in assists.
Bends at the knees, fires the next, and hits it. So the tap-back rebound does pay dividends. UConn back within 12 now at 39-27. 1:15 to go till halftime.
Both fan bases up, standing up right now.
In the Garden, get louder. Leotopoulos hands off for Hopkins. Hopkins beyond the arc, throws cross court. Leotopoulos wants a three. That shot is off the rim twice and no good. Rival pulls down the rebound for UConn. Here comes Demery. He's got the last 4 UConn points. Caravan into the corner. Gets it to Ball. Ball stuck there. Back to Ryba, and they'll reset up on top. Demery driving, lost the handle on the ball. It went over the end line, and it's going to be St. John's basketball on the UConn turnover. They're 10th here in the first half. They average 11 per game.
You play against St. John's, you're going to turn it over a lot more than you want to. Demery really didn't have anywhere to go, tried to create something, wasn't there.
11-second differential between game and shot clock now.
2 big possessions for Connecticut. A defensive one followed by an offensive.
Edge of 4, hands for Hopkins. Hopkins looking for the pick and roll, not there. Taking himself, shot up no good. Got his own rebound, and in traffic, missed on the putback, but he was fouled. That means that Bryce Hopkins is going to the line to shoot 2 with 18.7 left here in the half.
Well, Bryce Hopkins got too much penetration. Even though he was unable to finish the shot, he was still standing right there in front of the rim. He grabbed that offensive rebound. These are 2 big free throws.
Hopkins hits him at 73% on the year. His first one of the night is on the way, and it's good. With Tax Slayer simply free, there's no cost to file, no surprise upgrades. Get 100% accuracy and your max refund guaranteed. See if you qualify. So Reed back into the ball game now. Offense, defense. See if they can get something out of him on the ensuing possession.
And a rebound, perhaps.
Shot missed. Caravan got the rebound, and UConn's going to walk it up. Down 13. They would love to get within 11 or 10 on this possession before halftime. Demery around the screen. Up on top. Now takes the right-hand dribble into the lane. Jump stop. Lost his footing. And he's going to get called for a travel. He tried a 2-footed jump stop, and both feet went right out from underneath him.
I'm going to say he slipped on the floor because he just lost his footing right there. As you said, he tried to come under control. It's back-to-back possessions where Demery penetrated and coughed the ball up both times.
Demery had 9 turnovers on this floor in the first meeting between these teams. A reminder, St. John's won that game 81-72. Here they're up 13, and they'll have one more try with 2.7 left here in the half. They get it into Darling. Darling for the half-court strike. Fires and misses. And that is going to bring us to the end of half number 1. But if you're St. John's, you've got to love what you've seen so far.
Well, St. John's has been the dominant team. 13, to be honest with you. Connecticut's lucky to be only down 13 the way they've played. The first 4 minutes of the second half are going to be very, very telling, Scott.
Largest halftime deficit of the season for UConn. Trying to win a Big East championship and trying to see if they can lock up maybe a number 1 seed during Selection Sunday tomorrow. Meanwhile, for St. John's, a second straight Big East championship is now 20 minutes away. Our score, St. John's 40, UConn 27. When we return, Jason Horowitz rejoins us from our Westwood One studios with the halftime report. This is Westwood One's coverage of the Big East championship.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Are you seeking to honor those who've served and sacrificed for their country? Visit the Veterans Legacy Memorial. This digital platform, run by VA's National Cemetery Administration, is dedicated to the memory of more than 4.8 million veterans interred at VA's national cemeteries, VA's grant-funded tribal, state, and territory cemeteries, and 2 U.S. National Park Service cemeteries. The memorial's interactive features allow people to remember veterans by posting tributes and comments, uploading images, and sharing a veteran's military timeline, achievements, biographical information, historical documents, and more. Over 45,000 submissions have been made to the existing profile pages since the site was launched. That's the Veterans Legacy Memorial. This is a message from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Getting a flu shot protects you, your family, and your community. VA is offering no-cost flu shots to eligible veterans from a nearby VA clinic or within their community. To find a site near you, Visit the VA locator at va.gov/find-locations. That's va.gov/find-locations. You can choose a local VA facility or one of the 70,000 in-network pharmacy or urgent care locations. The provider must be part of VA's community care network. You are eligible to receive a flu shot at an in-network retail pharmacy or urgent care location if you are enrolled in the VA system and you received care from a VA or in-network community care provider within the past 24 months. Call 1-800-MyVA-411 to verify your eligibility.
Well, UConn completely shut down St. John's in the second half. Last time these two teams played, they may have to do that again in this ball game. Down 13 at the break, 40-27. Red Storm trying to win back-to-back Big East tournament titles for the first time in school history. Jason Horowitz, happy to have you back with us here on our Westwood One Studios in Los Angeles. St. John's started this game up 10-0. Well, the game started 0-0. They scored the first 10 points, and they led by double figures pretty much the whole way. It is a 13-point lead at the break. 11 UConn turnovers in the first half. That is their season average per game. Let's get you caught up on everything else going on around. 11 automatic bids earned today, including the one in the Big East. Big 12 title game between two of the newcomers, Arizona and Houston. Arizona last night won at the buzzer. Don't know that they're going to need that tonight.
Bradley crosses midcourt. Spin move there. Gets away from Blummitz into the lane. Throw it inside for Pete, who slams it home. A no-looker. 31-24 Cats. Pete with 10 points.
Brian Jeffries on the Arizona Wildcat Sports Network. The freshman Koa Pete has 13 and 5 boards. Arizona is up 48-36 early in the second half on a quick run. Houston just took a timeout. Championship game in the Mountain West. Utah State's a lock for the NCAA tournament. Some believe San Diego State has to win 43-39. They just hit the under 16 timeout in the second half. Utah State does have the lead. Earlier today in the SEC, 4-seeded Vanderbilt dominated Florida, the top seed, and maybe a 1 seed tomorrow in the NCAA tournament. 91-74. The Commodores owned the Gators throughout the course of the day. They will take on Arkansas, who had to go to overtime to get rid of 15th seeded Ole Miss. 93-90, and it allows some of those bubble teams, or at least maybe one, a chance to breathe because Ole Miss is not going to steal a bid from anyone else. In the Big Ten, Michigan today, the start against Wisconsin. Yaxel Lindemore hit a 3 at the buzzer to knock off the Badgers 68-65. They advanced to a championship game for a second straight year. Would get the winner of Purdue and UCLA. Boilermakers were up the whole game, led by as many as 13 in the second half. Bruins came all the way back to tie. Just a little too much Boiler up.
We're down to 2:55 to go. Perry driving to the rim. Kicks it left side and it's stolen. Stolen by Lawyer. Ahead to Cox on a run out. And CJ lays it in. Timeout UCLA. A live ball turnover by the Bruins. Puts Purdue in transition.
Rob Blackman from Learfield on the call. They'd win it by 7, 73-66. By the way, the Braden Smith assist watch still on. He had 9 today. So now Braden Smith is 12 short of Bobby Hurley's NCAA record, 1,076. He's got at least the championship game against Michigan tomorrow and one NCAA tournament game to at least try and break it. On the other side, we'll fill you in on who has clinched automatic bids, plus teams that are already set for the field of 68. It's all coming up on the other side. St. John's 40, UConn 27. It is halftime at Madison Square Garden. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
Hey, it's Josh Arnold from the Bob and Tom Show. You know, it's March, which means the tournament is officially here. The arenas are packed, and my bracket, well, it's completely busted. But it's also where underdogs rise, and every second counts. Rougiette knows that applies off the court, too. If things aren't working in the bedroom, you don't have to accept it. Rougiette Ready, their best seller, combines 3 ingredients in one minty dose that dissolves under your tongue. So you're ready physically and mentally, with effects lasting up to 36 hours. Getting started is simple. Rougiette connects you with a doctor online who can decide if a prescription is right for you. Then the treatment ships discreetly to your door. Rougiette, performance medicine for men. Head to rougiette.com/gameon and get 15% off your ED treatment. That's RUGIET.com/gameon for 15% off.
Prescription required. Telehealth is not intended to replace medical care. Please consult with your doctor. Restrictions apply. Visit RUGIET.com to learn more.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks while protecting your truck. 'Cause Purdy told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
I think when you're diagnosed with cancer, you crave a semblance of normalcy and control. And so work allowed me to be me. So I think it's really important that companies stay flexible. Cancer and a diagnosis can be all-consuming, but it doesn't have to be.
Research shows there is a significant connection between the ability to continue to work and cancer recovery. We can make work a better place for healing.
Learn more and sign the pledge at workingwithcancerpledge.com.
Jason Horowitz, glad to welcome you back to Conference Championship Week on Westwood One, presented by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. We'll get you back to New York City coming up momentarily. Second half of St. John's and UConn. It has been all red storm so far in this ball game. But let's get you caught up on the automatic bids earned today. Heading into the day, 15 teams were already locked into the field. We know a couple more. Started this morning in the America East. Top-seeded UMBC, second-seeded Vermont was a really close game for the first 35 minutes before the Retrievers, they went and fetched their bid.
UMBC basketball. They have the lead. Armstrong off the handoff against Long. Between the legs dribble, a crossover, another between the legs dribble. He steps back for another deep three. He hits this one! Oh! Armstrong again from deep. UMBC 64, Vermont 56. Armstrong has 29.
Phil Costantino on Westwood won the call. He finished with 33. He averages 12 on the season. UMBC knocked off Vermont. The Retrievers in the field for the first time since 2018. Howard Bison, winners of the MEAC Championship, the top seed over North Carolina Central, 70-63. They're in the field for the third time in the last 4 years. SWAC Championship just underway. The Southern Jaguars, the 3 seed, looking to go back for the first time in a decade, taking on 8-seeded Prairie View A&M, who was last time in the field in 2019. MAC title game gets going soon. Conference USA, Big West, and the WAC all still to get going as the night continues. All that throughout, but when we return, back to Scott Grant, BJ Carlissimo at Madison Square Garden. St. John's leading UConn 40-27. This is Westwood One's coverage of the Big East Championship.
Before I was adopted, I felt like nobody wanted me. I felt like my life was already over.
At a certain age, they don't want you. You're troubled and stuff. Even if I wanted to be adopted, who would adopt a 17-year-old?
Inside, I knew, I'm not a troubled kid. I know what I'm in for, why I'm here.
My biggest fear was that I would age out and not know how to be sufficient on my own.
I had nightmares every single day at my birth mom's house. It was just really scary for me living there.
I was scared, I was lost, and I felt hopeless.
I felt like, don't I deserve to feel happy and loved?
I just wish I'd gotten adopted sooner.
Unfortunately, the number of children waiting to be adopted from foster care is on the rise. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is the only public nonprofit charity in the U.S. focused exclusively on foster care adoption. You can help. Go to davethomasfoundation.org to learn more.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost my peace of mind.
My independence.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
My sense of safety.
These veterans are just a few of the men and women we serve at Homes for Our Troops. For nearly 1,800 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. We build specially adapted homes with features like wheelchair access, roll-in showers, and pull-down cabinets that allow them to live independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free, thanks to donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me stability,
financial freedom to grow our family,
a mental reset, a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us in completing our important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
Welcome back to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden here in New York City. We're at halftime right now. St. John's on top of UConn, 40-27. They got out to the quick start of this game, led it by as many as 17, and out of a 13-point lead at the break. Take a look at the numbers of the first half. St. John's cooled down. Early on, they were shooting nearly 80%. They shot 50% of the first half, but UConn just 36%. The Huskies also really struggling with the ball, turning it over 11 times. That led to 15 points for St. John's, and the Huskies also scoreless over the last 3:07 of that half when they had the opportunity to close some ground, Coach.
Yeah, they did, but again, you said the bad start. 10-0 start. Very first possession of the game, St. John's goes to Zuby inside, and he finishes. He gets in, he gets a short shot. There's only about 2 seconds on the shot clock, but he was able to finish it. UConn's first two possessions, they went to Terrace Reed inside. He missed those little hook shots right at the rim, but he was unable to finish either one. That kind of set the tone for the game. Meantime, Osiah Sellers gets going. After the Zuby bucket, the next 6 points were by Sellers. He makes a three. UConn makes a big mistake and fouls him. He makes 3 free throws. So a terrible start to UConn to the game. The turnover is the biggest difference. 11 turnovers, 15 6 points off turnovers. And UConn couldn't find any other way to get in there. Free throws, still St. John's 8-7 advantage. 3-point shooting, both teams only have 2 3-point shots, so they've got to manufacture some other ways. Talking the number one offense in the Big East, field goal percentage and assists, they got 27 points at the half, Scott.
Very quickly, can St. John's keep that defensive intensity for 20 more minutes?
They can keep the intensity, but I think the execution by UConn will improve. I'm looking first 4 minutes to see whether UConn is going to respond and make this a game.
UConn is 4-1 this season when trailing at halftime, but they're facing their biggest deficit of the season. Our halftime score, St. John's 40, UConn 27. Start of the second half is just ahead. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-566-7079. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-566-7079. That's 800-566-7079. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Replace your wiper blades and save $10 on a pair of Rain-X Latitude wiper blades at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Beam blade technology improves windshield contact for maximum visibility. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Stop by your O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Class, today we're talking March Madness. Open your textbooks. Join thousands of other screaming fans for an in-person experience you have to see to believe. NCAA March Madness, Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your men's basketball seats today at ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
Professor, this year my bracket is going to be perfect.
Right.
Westwood One on the Varsity Network bring you the biggest moments of March all the way to Indianapolis and Phoenix. For the hometown call you love, the place to stream your team broadcast all postseason is the Varsity Network app. Download the free Varsity Network app today. 40-27 at halftime for St. John's, trying to win back-to-back Big East Tournament championships for the first time in school history. And we've talked a little bit about UConn trying to play perhaps for a number 1 seed when the brackets are revealed tomorrow. They've been talking about St. John's as a 4 or a 5 seed. I would imagine a win here, they might get that 4 seed.
I should pay more attention to the bracketology. I don't. It's hard for me to imagine St. John's not being a 4 seed or better. St. John's is clearly one of the best 16 teams in the country.
Ejiofor was the leading scorer in that half with 10 points for St. John's. UConn was led by Silas Demery and Eric Ryba with 6 points apiece.
Yeah, the freshman. And he had to play a lot more minutes because of the foul trouble for Terrace Reed. But Terrace Reed has got to assert himself right now in his first 4 minutes. And defensively, UConn would do very well to start with the stop. You would think this is coming to Zuby Ejiofor in the paint.
St. John's in the home white with the red and blue trim. UConn in the traveling navy blue with the red and white trim. Starters who began the game are on the floor right now. Ball, Demery, Reed, Caravan, and Mullins for UConn. Darling, Mitchell, Sellers, Hopkins, and Ejiofor for St. John's. 20 minutes left to go. This was supposed to be the clash of the Titans tonight, the two best teams all season long in the Big East.
I'll tell you, the entire tournament, they've done a poor job managing timeouts. I know they wait for TV, but there's supposed to be communication. Players have been standing around this entire tournament virtually every time out of a timeout or to start a half.
Well, one of the problems is the fact that Fox actually builds an entire television studio at halftime right on the court. Here's Hopkins inbounding St. John's from our left to our right, and we are underway in the second half of this Big East championship game. Darling bounce pass to Ejiofor, hand back to Hopkins in between the circles. Hopkins pass back to Sellers, who had the hot start to the game. Standing on the logo, gets it off to Darling near side. Now a cutter, Sellers is open and he's fouled as he was gliding in for a layup. Caravan got there, got the ball, but got a piece of him. Picks up his first foul, and Sellers will shoot 2.
Sellers got them off to a big start in the first half. Second half started the same way. He went off a screen by Zuby and was actually going to be another pin down to get him the ball, but Sellers was wide open on the back cut.
Sellers, as we said earlier, terrific free throw shooter. Makes the first. 54 games in 2 seasons at USC, then a year at Stanford. And now here at St. John's, he makes the second. 42-27. 15-point lead for the Johnnies. The inbound comes to Demery. He'll match up with Darling as he brings it across half court. They're trying to free a shooter. Ball's got the ball, but pushed way outside. Now Caravan flips it inside. Reed's got an easy 2. Well-designed play to free up the big man in the key.
They have to establish Terrace Reed. They need to get him going.
42-29. Hopkins up on top.
Looking for Zuby.
Yep, got it down to him on the block. They're going to go after the man with 2 fouls. Double team comes, throw to the top. Hopkins wants a 3. He got it. Bryce Hopkins buries his second 3 of the night as he came wide open up on top.
Both Bryce Hopkins and Zuby Ejiofor are under 30% from the 3-point line. Bryce Hopkins 2 for 2 tonight.
45-29, 16-point lead for St. John's. Demery is really bothered by Darling, and his pass to the outside flicked over the sideline, so UConn will keep it with 12 left on the shot clock.
Yeah, he was dribbling the ball most of that possession out near half court. Dylan Darling with a good job getting the deflection on the pass.
Now the inbound is stolen away. Great anticipation from Sellers. He drives. His shot is blocked, and it goes over the end line. It'll stay St. John's way. What a play by Silas Demery to not just stop the layup, but not draw the foul.
He did a good job, but Terrace Reed did not meet the inbounds pass. That's why it was stolen. He's a little too lackadaisical on that inbound pass.
On the inbound, ball off the hands of Hopkins, but then a touch ball and back over the end line. So it remains St. John's basketball with a near side baseline inbound.
An adventure for both teams trying to get the ball inbounds.
They get it in for Sellers, and a layup is good. Caravan just lost sight of him inside, and they threaded the needle underneath the basket as Sellers hits for two.
The Josiah Sellers show.
He's got 12. His team up 18. Biggest lead of the game. Here's Reed. Heading back behind for Mullins. Silent tonight. On the inside, his shot is good as he rattles home a one-hander.
Good news for UConn. Reed scores early. Braylon Mullins scores early. The bad news is the defense has been non-existent.
And 16 points is a big mountain to climb against this St. John's team. Hopkins, left side, foul line extended. Directing some traffic, wanted Mitchell up top, he wasn't there. So Hopkins going to take matters into his own hands. Now dumps it off for Mitchell, but he's cut off. Down on the right baseline, gets to Sellers. 4 left to shoot. Jumper on the way, no good. Rebound falls into the hands of Reed for UConn. Huskies quickly into the forecourt. Ball back behind. Mullins, three-pointer was at least 3 feet short. It got changed. And on the rebound, the ball hits the deck. So do Caravan and Sellers. Held ball will belong to UConn on the alternate possession.
I'd like to see the replay. I thought it got hit. It was woefully short, Scott.
Yeah, you see some every once in a while that'll kind of come up just a little bit short of the rim. This was a good 2-3 feet short of the rim.
Caddy error. I think they missed by 2 clubs.
What happens if you're that kind of golfer and you don't use a caddy? Who do you blame then?
Look in the mirror.
Thanks. Here's Demery off the inbound. With the left-hand dribble, left of the lane, picks it up, goes to the top for Ball. Ball fires inside for Reed. Reed backing in. Big man on big man, and he misses the one-hander, shoved aside by Ejiofor.
Ejiofor did a good job pushing him up the lane. The post-up was actually at about 12 feet.
St. John's a little bit sloppy with the basketball. UConn tried for the steal, but Demery is going to get called for the foul. That's his second.
I'm watching the replay. Zuby Ejiofor, they talk about bigs doing their job early. That's exactly what he did. By the time Terrace Reed got the ball, he was trying to back in from just inside the free throw line.
16:53 to go in the ball game. St. John's by 16 with the basketball. Here's Sannon up on top. Shot fake. Now he'll try the three. That shot is off. Ejiofor fighting for the rebound, but it goes off his hands and out of bounds. And back over again to UConn.
Kind of a tough shot there by Josan Sannon.
Where does the Big East Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year project at the next level?
Well, I'll tell you what, you would like him to be bigger to play inside, but he's shown this year the ability to put the ball on the floor. You still got, you got to be a little concerned. He's a 70% free thrower and under 30 from the three-point line.
Caravan driving down an open lane, lays it home for UConn.
Hopefully, if you're a St. John's fan, Zuby's got anywhere between 7 games or left in his college career before he starts worrying about the next level.
Ejiofor holding right here between the circles. Back cut wasn't there. Hands for Darling up top. Darling open for three. And that shot is off the front of the rim. Missed badly. Mullins scurries and covers up the rebound.
Darling really struggling. 1 for 7, 0 for 5 from 3.
Mullins left side wants a three. It's good. On the feed from Caravan. And Rick Pitino's going to call for a timeout because UConn is now back to within 11. And the freshman, who was shut out of the first half, has 5 points in the first 4 minutes of the second half.
Rip Hamilton up leading the cheers. Again, we said the good news. Reed's gotten going. Mullins has gotten going. And they finally got a couple of stops on the defensive end because it started out like St. John's was going to score every possession.
15:55 to go in the ball game. It's St. John's 47, UConn 36. This is Westwood One's coverage of the Big East Championship.
It's been a real journey since 2014. When I first had my injury, I realized that my home was just not working for me and that it was time to ask for help. Homes for Our Troops is really giving me my life back. The shower allows me to go in and turn around with my chair, pull down storage racks, automated door systems, hours of my morning given back to me. Adaptive sports are a huge part of my life, a huge part of my healing journey as well. Homes for Our Troops helped with making sure that I had a home gym so that I can continue to train. This past year, I was able to host Thanksgiving in my home. And it was the first time I was able to have my whole family in one place, and I was able to contribute to the meal. There are a lot more veterans in need, and Homes for Our Troops is going to be there to help them too.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or a warm meal to eat, or whether anyone cares about them.
But the reality is, 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
But the good news is, there's an organization making a big difference. Covenant House.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis and giving them the support and the tools they need to succeed in life.
I have no words to express how Covenant House changed my life. They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, and love, most of all love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges, and their lives are transformed.
Covenant House is changing the lives of young people in cities across America.
To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today. Thank you for caring.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Westwood One, your home for NCAA March Madness. Along with former Seton Hall coach P.J. Carlissimo, I'm Scott Graham here at our Granger broadcast position at the Big East Tournament in New York City. Gain a winning edge for your business with Granger. Get next-day delivery of industrial-grade products to help keep operations going when you call 1-800-GRANGER or click Granger.com. Donovan Clingan, two-time NCAA champion, among those courtside cheering UConn on, and you said that you got alums who are trying to get this crowd up and going, because UConn trying to show signs of life after trailing by as many as 18. They are back to within 11, 47-36, with 15:55 to go.
You think they'll let Danny Hurley put Clingan, Rip Hamilton, and Donnie Marshall into the game? They're all standing around. Danielle Marshall was here the other day. Mecca Okafor. Some pretty good alums.
Yeah.
Both of these. Mark Jackson, Jason Williams, Walter Berry. Tremendous alums from both these schools.
Zendon Hamilton also here with Mark Jackson. We're seeing on the screen. He has already stopped by to say hi to Coach. So St. John's will inbound the ball after Rick Pitino tried to stem the tide with a quick timeout. And the Johnnies bring it across from our left to our right, leading it by 11. Sadden holds just inside half court. Off for Hopkins. Hopkins still 25 from the hoop. Gets it to Sadden, driving inside. Bounce pass low for Mitchell. And Mitchell has his pocket pick. Stolen away by Demery. Ahead to ball. Layup blocked away. Ejiofor got it from behind, but we're going to get a foul call.
Oh, I thought they called goaltending. What is this call?
I did not see contact. Guess what? We get a timeout on the floor, and they're going to get to talk about that one for a long time. One arm a little bit on the back.
Oh, I thought it was a good block. Steal inside. Sandin's on the floor for Dylan Darling. He beat his man off the dribble and made a nice pass, but Mitchell got stripped, and that ignited the fast break. I still don't know what the call is.
I think from looking at the scoreboard, it looks like it was a basket that was counted and a goaltending call. The officials are going to look at it while we're gone. We got a timeout with 15:32 left to go in the ball game. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Here she comes! Surprise! They sent a duplicate shipment to your flower shop! Now you have to pay for 1,000 extra carnations! Also, there's a beehive outside your store! And they're super aggressive! There's thousands of them!
Progressive knows small business owners usually don't like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise? Saving 13% on commercial auto insurance when you pay in full.
Also, the egg salad you just ate was expired! Gross!
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
NCAA March Madness action is almost here. Watch the selection show on CBS tomorrow. See where your team is headed and reserve your seats at ncaa.com/MBB tickets. Well, James Breeding, Pat Driscoll, and Mike Roberts have spent more time looking at a monitor than somebody who just watched a movie. And they're still consulting about whether this was indeed a goaltending call, a correct one, on Zubi Ejiofor. It looked like he got it on the way up, but it also looked like he might have trapped it against the backboard. Was it on its way down off the backboard? No, it was not. I'll tell you what, I don't want to make this call.
I thought it was a good block. I thought he got it on the way up, and I thought he got it before it went to the backboard. Just watching where it then went.
After review,
here we go.
St. John's challenge is successful, and the call is overturned.
I'll tell you what, in looking at the
time that the play was stopped for the goaltending call, the
eminent possession is the words he's looking for, but Rick Pitino is interrupting him right now.
He's just trying to help.
At the time the play was stopped for the goaltending call, Connecticut had possession of the ball. Connecticut will retain possession with 15:33 on the game clock and 26 on the shot clock.
All right, so take 2 points off the board. It's going to be 47-36 once again, but UConn's got the basketball.
Incredible block by Zubi Ejiofor in transition.
Off the inbound, Mullen, shot for three. That shot is no good. Long rebound coming out off a couple of hands and finally controlled by UConn.
Reed with really good hustle, took the ball away from Salmon.
And now whistle off the ball. And it was James Breeding who stopped the play with the whistle. I don't know if he's determining whether there's a change of possession. I think he was.
That's what he's saying, whether they should have reset the clock or not when it went into the backcourt. Terrace Reed with a really good play. I thought that was going to be a Sandin breakaway.
It looked like it.
Terrace Reed just ran him down and grabbed the ball.
Shot clock was reset to 24 because there was no change of possession. Here's Demery. UConn with the basketball. Inside, Reed shot good. He posted up on Ejiofor as easy as he's had it all night.
Terrace Reed looks like a different player so far in the second half.
9-0 UConn run. 9-point ball game. Under 15 minutes to play in the Big East Championship.
St. John's hasn't scored in almost 3.5 minutes.
They know what that feels like. Hopkins shoveling back aside. Now Sandin coming around a screen. Left side of the floor right in front of his own bench. They get it into the hands of Ejiofor. Head of the circle. He wants a three. Shot is no good. Rebound for Hopkins. Hit him on 3 players. He banks it back home. Bryce Hopkins swooping in and saving the play, getting the lead back to 11 for St. John's.
To the edge of 4, shooting a 3, UConn can live with, but not the offensive rebound by Bryce Hopkins.
Demery tried to get his man in the air and draw the foul. Mitchell did hit him, and it is going to be a foul call on Mitchell. Demery was thinking about a 3-point shot, but he ended up crumbling to the floor as Mitchell fell on top of him.
Watching the Fox replay as you're talking, Scott, I'll tell you what, Harris Reed is playing with so much more purpose underneath the basket so far, second half.
Off the inbound, Demery left corner. Bouncing it to Reed. Here goes Reed, back to work once again. Moving inside on Ejiofor. Jump hook shot is good. He's using that size, and Ejiofor can't stop him.
Different Harris Reed.
49-40, 9-point ball game. Connecticut had not trailed in the entire tournament. They trailed all night tonight. Here's Mitchell. Holding in between the circles. Ball's on him defensively. Now they switch up. Pass is thrown away. Ball was tapped, but they say it last touched UConn. And as it comes over the sideline right near us, St. John's will keep possession with 9 on the shot clock.
Then he only looked to his second row to see whether to challenge or not, and they said, do not challenge.
Off the inbound. Ejiofor's got to go to work with 5 on the timer. Little looping pass for Hopkins. Hopkins had it knocked away before it got to him. It goes over the end line, and now you've got 2.6 left on the shot clock.
Good defense inside, fronted, unable to get the ball to the post.
Mitchell keys the inbound for St. John's. Trying to get it to a shooter. Sadin's got it. 3-pointer right corner, way too strong. And the rebound down for Caravan, who almost lost it. But now UConn keeps it. They're trying to get as close as they've been in a while. Demery around the top of the circle, and a foul call on Hopkins, who was trying to get a body in the way and slow Demery down. It wasn't a lot of contact, and Hopkins is staring down James Breeding, saying that should not have been a foul.
Yeah, Bryce didn't get in front of him, though. He was about 45-degree angle. When you jump out on that dribble handoff, you got to play the man with the ball almost like you're looking in a mirror. You got to be square to him, and he was not. That's a good call by James Breeding.
Off the inbound, here's Demery. Picked up by Darling right at the half-court stripe. Fires down toward the corner for Ross. Back up to the top now. Shot clock at 8. Demery driving, knifes into the lane. Bounce pass for Reed. Left-handed layup is no good.
Easiest shot he's had in the second half.
He just was not set with the ball. And now here comes St. John's back the other way. 13 minutes left to go. Ejiofor, hands back behind. Sadin, foul line. Pull up. Can't take the shot. Bounces it for Ejiofor. Inside, lost the handle. Ball knocked out of bounds. And they say it last touched UConn. Harris Reed is telling his coach, you want to challenge that because they say it last touched Ejiofor.
I got to disagree with Taras. I thought it was off UConn players.
I thought, honestly, it last touched Caravan.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And a good decision by the UConn bench to not challenge.
Off the inbound. Sadin a 3 from the left side. In and out. He's had a cold hand.
Second consecutive inbounds play. They ran the play for Sin, and he's unable to convert.
St. John's struggling to try to get field goals once again. On a pick and roll, Reed is open and hits a soft floater in the lane.
Nice pass from Demery Jr. to Reed Jr.
49-42, 7-point game. The Garden is going berserk. Rick Pitino sees that, and he calls for another timeout.
Danny Hurley to his team as they were walking over to the huddle. He's got both hands facing down on the floor saying, relax. We're not there yet. We got a long way to go.
Indeed. 12:24 left to play here at Madison Square Garden. It's St. John's 49, UConn 42. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
America, let me be very clear. If your car breaks down and your plan is to hope it won't cost too much, you're cooked. Done. Sayonara. Hope will not pay the bill. Hope ain't going to replace your transmission, and it isn't a defense I've ever heard of. That's why I ride with CarShield, America's most trusted auto protection. We're talking elite level defense that saves you money when unexpected repairs happen. And you know I love a good defense. Get your free quote at carshield.com. carshield.com.
The intensity is turned up. 49-42, 12:24 left to go here in this Big East championship game with St. John's on top of UConn. It's time now for the Liberty Mutual fact of the game.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Liberty Mutual customizes your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Tonight's fact is more of a remembrance. It was 30 years ago this season, PJ, when the move was made by the Big East from Sunday afternoon into Saturday night primetime for the first time for the Big East championship game. You'd say, well, that's memorable enough. Well, anybody who follows the Big East might remember that championship game. That would have been Ray Allen against Allen Iverson. Ray Allen hitting the game-winning shot after having previously missed 14 shots in a row. And Allen Iverson, despite 77 points in the tournament, coming up short as UConn won the fourth of their 8 Big East championships, 75-74.
Unbelievable, the players that have played in this building. And I should also mention the first 3 Big East tournaments in Providence, Hartford, and Syracuse before Dave Gavitt made the brilliant move of bringing the Big East tournament to Madison Square Garden, and they've never looked back. The amount of not good but great players that have played for all these Big East schools, and so many of them were lucky enough to get to this championship game in Madison Square Garden.
And here's your irony of that one as well. The MVP was Victor Page from the losing Georgetown team, who had 41 in one of those games. 12:20 to go. St. John's back to work. Left to right they go. 1 for their last 7 from the floor.
Trying to post up Zuby on the left box.
Hopkins catch and shoot for the foul line, and he drills it home. Came around a down screen and came wide open, and that puts St. John's back up by 9.
Bryce Hopkins has been the glue so far in the second half.
And there is Darling coming from behind and stealing the ball from Mullins.
Yeah, Mullins should have realized he was behind him.
Darling's got the basketball now. We'll see if St. John's can press this advantage coming out of the timeout. Darling playing catch with Sanin on the outside. Sanin into the paint. Throws back behind. Ejiofor, a 3. He got it! Drills it from the top of the circle. And that's the answer for St. John's. They are back up by 12.
Big response out of the timeout. We said before the game what guys were going to step up. Bryce Hopkins and Zuby Ejiofor have stepped up.
Ejiofor's got 13. Hopkins with 15 to lead the way for St. John's. And now you got a whistle and a reach-in foul as Darling was being the defensive pest that he is on Silas Demery. That's going to be his 3rd. He's like that fly at the picnic that just won't leave you alone.
Exactly right. But he makes those plays, the run from behind plays. That's why Braylon Mullins should know that. This is the 3rd time they've played St. John's, and that's what Dylan Darling does.
11 minutes, 13 seconds left to go. St. John's has led throughout. They've taken it back up now to a 12-point lead as UConn inbounds from the near sideline. Caravan, trouble finding a man, but gets it to Demery. Now Demery shovels it down low to Reed. Tarris Reed back to work on the inside. Turn, shot, up, no good, but he drew the foul call. Ejiofor is really struggling to try to stay with Reed. Now, Reed is 265. Ejiofor is 245. It's about a 20-pound difference, but Reed makes himself awfully big in there, Coach.
I can't believe it. Just looks like a totally different player in the second half. We're talking Zuby Ejiofor, the defensive player of the year in the Big East Conference, and he's got his hands full with Tarris Reed so far.
Reed's free throw is no good. Along with former Seton Hall coach P.J. Carlissimo, I'm Scott Graham. You're listening to Championship Week on Westwood One, presented by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs. For protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Second free throw's good.
You're trying to come back against St. John's with this kind of deficit. Connecticut cannot afford leaving points on the free throw line.
Sadden mishandled the ball in the corner, but got it back. Ejiofor is now posting up.
Mismatch.
Had a size advantage, kicks back outside. Sadden missed the three, and the rebound knocked out of bounds off of Ross. It'll stay St. John's way.
St. John's struggling from deep in the second half. 1 for 7 so far on three-point shots. And surprisingly, it's Bryce Hopkins and Zuby Ejiofor, the guys making the shots.
Sadden has missed 3 of them since halftime. 4 in all for the game. Still hasn't hit one. Here's Ejiofor. Left of the lane, throws back outside for Jackson. Right back into Ejiofor. Working his way inside. Jump hook shot is good. Over the top of Tarris Reed. The lead back to 13 for St. John's.
2 dominant big men in the league going at each other, and the offense winning out at both baskets.
10 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. Here's Demery. Round the top of the circle. Ejiofor out there on him. One touch for Caravan, right back to Demery. Trying to play 2-man game with Reed. It's not there. Now Mullins gets the ball, throws it inside, and we're going to get a foul call on the floor. It's not a shooting foul, but Reed got bumped into by Dylan Mitchell on that entry pass.
Good recognition by Mullins. That time there was a switch, and Bryce Hopkins ended up on Tarris Reed. He just threw a little bit of a lob pass right to him. It was actually a good foul.
That's Reed's third. 15 foul on St. John's. And at the 10:07 mark, UConn inbounds from the near side baseline. It's Demery. Getting it inside. They get it into the hands of Reed. Reed face up to the basket. Now bumping his way inside once again. Up and under. And a reverse layup around Ejiofor.
Both of these teams have to be contemplating doubling the post because neither defensive center is able to stop his counterpart.
Reed's now got 15 for the ball game. Big second half. But his team is still stuck 11. Jackson. Deep three ball. That shot is no good. Wow. He was halfway to the half-court stripe. From the top of the circle. UConn with the rebound. A chance to cut back into the lead now with under 9.5 left. Demery holding. Gets it to Caravan. Caravan hasn't had a shot all night. Back to Demery. Comes wide open down the lane and blocked from behind. Ejiofor blocked it. Out of the pack, it's Mitchell. Flying in to jam it home. What a turnaround. It looked like a layup for UConn, and it turned into a slam dunk the other way for St. John's. They lead it by 13.
There's an injured player down there. I'm screened by the other players. Solo Ball made a careless pass right there. It looks like Silas Demery Jr. on the floor. But Solo Ball, they recovered the ball after the really good block, and Solo just made a cross-court pass. Mitchell just ate it up and went right down for a thunder dunk.
St. John's crowd is losing it right now after that turnaround. And what a big turnaround in an 11-point game. As Demery took off down the lane, he's the one who is down under the basket. And he's holding on, it looks like, to his left leg or left ankle.
And I should correct myself. It wasn't Solo Ball. I'm watching the replay. It was Jaden Ross with the turnover. Bad turnover. Really unforced. Just kind of a careless pass. Kind of Mitchell loves to eat up.
he never really controlled the ball. He was trying to grab and pass at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, Demery didn't go to the bench. He walked right into the runway with the training staff from UConn. That's big because the ball's in his hands most of the time. That means that you're going to get more time on the floor now for Malachi Smith.
How about some of these dunks, trail dunks? I hate to use an NBA comparison, but it's like LeBron James running down from the back, catching up with the player. And that time it was Bryce Hopkins. Then when Mitchell's done it, Zuby Ejiofor's done it.
Connecticut basketball down 13. We crossed 9 minutes left to go. Caravan catch and shoot three. That shot is no good. Offensive rebound on the putback for Reed. What a second half he's having. He's got 17.
Connecticut needs more from Alex Caravan.
58-47. Here's Hopkins driving into the lane, and Caravan fouled him on the way to the basket.
Just took him one-on-one. Bryce Hopkins has been really impressive, particularly in the second half.
Hopkins, part of the trio, along with Ejiofor and Mitchell, who were 16 for 22 as a threesome from the floor tonight. Of course, a lot of that is from inside, but as you pointed out, big guys have hit a couple of threes.
Yeah, I mean, hard to believe. You wouldn't have thought coming into this game, Bryce Hopkins 2 for 2 from three.
He missed on the first free throw. He'll get another try at it.
Zuby 1 for 2. 3 for 4 between Ejiofor and Bryce Hopkins from the three-point line.
Darius Reed comes out ahead of the media timeout under the 8 minute. I don't think he's going to be out for long.
No, that's exactly why Danny Hurley just took him out.
Hopkins hits his second, so Ryba checks in for UConn. And here comes full court pressure for St. John's, up by 12. 8:38 to go in the ball game. They'll get it into Malachi Smith, and Smith will trot it across half court. Now for Ball. Back to Smith in between the circles. Ryba holds, shovels for Ball, three-pointer in rhythm, no good. And the rebound down, and it's corralled by Bryce Hopkins.
That was the play, and it was well executed, so Ball couldn't finish.
Jackson driving in the lane. The shot is blocked away by Ryba and Ross, and now UConn trying to run. Smith driving, shot, good, and the foul. He went right at Ruben Prey, the 7-footer, and Malachi Smith, now filling in at point guard, has a chance to make this a 9-point game again.
Partner, if I may say so, great call. I didn't know you were going to call that block because it was blocked by two players. Had to give each of them a half. Malachi did not hesitate. Malachi Smith, he saw the big guy from Lisbon, Portugal, and went right into his grill.
Smith is a very aggressive player. He's also not a great free throw shooter, just 53%. Shot is up. Shot is no good short. And the rebound corralled by Oziah Sellers for St. John's.
Surprised UConn didn't make a better effort to anticipate the miss and go for the board.
10-point ball game, 59-49. Under 8 left to play. St. John's has led throughout.
Mismatch. They want to go to Mitchell against Malachi.
Said Hopkins spins into the lane. His shot is partially blocked by Ryba. Ball ping-pongs off a couple of players, goes out of bounds, and it's going back the other way to UConn when we come back.
This game's just hovering around 10 points. UConn needs one sustained march to get it down like 5 or 6. So far, St. John's has not cooperated at all.
Give credit to St. John's for playing the way they have with the lead all tournament long, especially tonight. St. John's 59, UConn 49, 7:36 left to play here at the Garden. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-566-7079. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-566-7079. That's 800-566-7079. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Jason Horowitz back with you in our Westwood One studios. Back to the Garden in a moment. Update of what else is going on around the country. As good as the Big 12 game was yesterday between Arizona and Iowa State, the title game just as good. Wildcats leading Houston 75-72, 29 seconds to go. Houston has the basketball. Utah State going to the NCAA tournament for the 6th time in 7 years. Top seed in the Mountain West knocked off San Diego State 73-62. Aztecs are going to have to sweat it out tomorrow on Selection Sunday. Hopefully be in 6th straight year. Meanwhile, Mid-American Conference Championship, Toledo leading Akron 29-23, 7 minutes to go in the opening half. Will there be 2 bids? Miami of Ohio undefeated until the tournament. We'll find out tomorrow night. Back to Scott Graham, PJ Carlissimo.
Here at Madison Square Garden in New York, it is Saturday night of the Big East Tournament, the championship game. That's when this place is the loudest in a college basketball season, and it is not disappointed. St. John's played 12 home games here this year. They lead UConn 59-49. One of those home games was a win over UConn in the first meeting back in February, and they have had the lead coach all night tonight.
Yeah, they have, and I'll tell you what, we thought Connecticut needed a couple of threes if they were going to get back in. In the second half, they're only 1 for 5. St. John's is 2 for 9, one by Zuby, one by Bryce Hopkins. Who would have thought that? Connecticut's done a really good job, 18-8 points in the paint, but they need some perimeter offense. Solo ball, 1 for 5, 0 for 3. Silas Demery Jr., 1 for 5, 0 for 1. Braylon Mullins, 2 for 6, 1 for 3. The perimeter game is not there for Connecticut.
Demery is back out on the bench and lacing up his sneakers very tightly. But it's Smith with the ball as UConn attacks, trailing it by 10. Shot clock down to 12. Smith throws back outside. Mullins will try a 3. Missed from the right. And a one-handed rebound by Prey, but he couldn't hold it. Back out to Ball. Ball, three-pointer. That's too strong. Mullins got the rebound. Ball, third time's the charm. Nope, eye off the glass and no good. But Ross got it back. This is a 4th try now on this possession for UConn.
They need a 3. Scott.
There's Smith. Finds the cutter. Mullins driving up and under. Missed the reverse lay-in. And the ball knocked out of bounds. It's going back to St. John's 5 times with a shot at the basket. And UConn came up empty.
That possession, I think we're going to look back at that possession later on. They had some really good looks, did UConn, that possession. Mullins unable to finish outside. I thought he should have laid it off to Ryber when he drove. He had to kind of spin it and change sides of the floor. Thought he had a little toss pass to Ryber that would have been a better decision.
UConn is not a great three-point shooting team, but they can be a good three-point shooting team. Tonight, they're 3 for 15 from beyond the arc. Here's Garland taking the right-hand dribble and driving and scoring. The left-hander used the right side, went high off the glass, and makes it a 12-point game.
Well, he's unable to make it from outside tonight and did the wise thing, went to the rim.
Malachi Smith now spins into the forecourt. And Darling is right there with him step by step. 6:10 left to play. Here's Reed inside. Ejiofor ripped the ball away, and he got a steal. He finally won one of those battles inside.
Yes, he did. Tarish Reed turned right into him, and he just took the ball away from him.
Here's Darling driving again, and this time wanted contact, and he got it. couldn't get the shot all the way to the rim, but he was fouled on the play by Malachi Smith. And that means Dylan Darling is going to the free throw line to shoot two. You can stream every Westwood One basketball game for free, sponsored by LinkedIn Ads. Stop wasting ad budget on the wrong audience. LinkedIn Ads put your message in front of the right decision makers. Spend $250, get $250. Go to linkedin.com/college basketball. Terms apply. For a live stream, go to westwoodonesports.com or download the Westwood One Sports app today. You may have heard that the free throw was good. So Dylan Darling, who, as we said, has struggled from the outside. Now 5 points on 2 for 8 shooting, 0 for 5 from three-point range. But his presence still being felt in this game.
He plays with so much confidence, and he's just right. He's just proven that again. More than stop the bleeding. Demery back on the floor. We'll see how he looks coming up the floor.
62-49. As big a deficit as Connecticut has seen all year, not the biggest one they've seen tonight. They were once down 18. Caravan throws back behind for Demery. Demery bothered by Hopkins. Driving with the left hand. Underneath the backboard. Back outside. Ross wants a three. That rims out. Tapped rebound controlled by Dylan Mitchell for St. John's. And with 5:25 to go, he puts it on his hip and trots it across half court.
They're more than happy to run some clock here.
And Demery trying for a steal. Fouls Darling. His team foul number 5 for UConn. And the third on Demery.
We were screened. That's a tough call. I didn't see that, but I do see those 3-point shots by UConn going astray, and they're not getting back in this game without a couple of threes.
We're coming up on 5 minutes to go, Coach. This is St. John's game to lose. Off on the left side, Darling, foul line, jumper, got it! Darling heating up, and St. John's lead is now 16.
Never even entered his mind that he was 1 for 7. Danny Hurley's seen enough. Dylan Darling has turned this game around in the last minute and a half. St. John's putting distance again between they and UConn.
Hurley calling the 32nd timeout after a 6-0 run that took less than a minute and a half. Scott Graham, PJ Carlissimo here at our Grainger broadcast position at Madison Square Garden in New York. Stay on top of your game with Grainger. Get the industrial-grade products right when you need them to help your business advance when you call 1-800-GRAINGER or click Grainger.com.
6 straight for Darling, I believe.
Yep.
A couple of buckets and a couple of free throws.
He is the 6-0 run, and in that period of time, UConn has missed their last 5. They're 1 for their last 7 from the floor.
Unfortunately for them, it was 5 on the one possession, including a couple of wide-open threes that they were unable to put down.
So, the Huskies, who won national championships back-to-back years, and then last year got bounced by Florida, the team that went on to win the national championship. You know what they can do if they get into the tournament. They will be in the tournament. They've been there 5 straight times. The 6th one is coming tomorrow. And they're 13-3 in March Madness during that span of time.
Well, the first half, I thought the problem was Tarish Reed got outplayed pretty convincingly by Zuby Ejiofor. Tarish Reed has really stepped up and played well in the second half, but the UConn perimeter game has been non-existent.
Same could be said for St. John's, but they've done a better job inside.
For sure.
Mullins, looping pass inside to Reed. A shot blocked away by Ejiofor. Wasn't blocked so much as clawed back to earth.
Literally on top. He had his hand and his wrist on top of the ball.
4:33 left to go. St. John's in complete command right now. Leading it by 16 with the basketball. Darling trying to get something done on Demery. Stepping to the right. His three-pointer rounded out, no good. But Mitchell, a big offensive rebound that he is fouled by Mullins.
What a crazy number, partner.
Yeah.
7 block shots for Zuby Ejiofor.
7.
8 block shots by St. John's. 7, if my eyes are all right, reading our stat monitor.
We should be finding out how close that might be to a career high for him.
Gotta have a leg up on a Big East tournament record. 7 blocks is a ton of blocks,
right.
even for a league with your Patrick Ewings and Ed Pinckneys and the great players that have played.
Line drive, three-point jumper for Isaiah Sellers. And the lid is coming off now. St. John's matches their biggest lead of the game, up 18. Under 4 minutes left to go. This is going a different direction right now. Caravan throws extra pass to Mullins, a three-pointer. Back iron, no good. Rebound down to Smith, kicks back outside. Demery, a three. That one is no good. And the rebound down again for Dylan Mitchell.
Well, it's much more than the three-point shooting, but that has made it impossible for Connecticut to get back in the game.
The clash of the Titans is becoming a coronation ceremony. Hopkins, a pretty move and a lay-in. It's a 20-point St. John's lead. And now the St. John's faithful are feeling it.
I think we got another injury because I can't figure screen to our right.
There's Demery again.
It's Silas, yeah.
And this time he's limping. And I'll tell you what, we got some games to play next week, more than likely in Philadelphia, regardless of what seed you are. And that does not look good right now. Demery got back out onto the floor after leaving and going to the locker room. And now he's needing help from both sides as he limps his way back to the UConn huddle. Time out on the floor with 3:26 left to go. St. John's has only that separating them from a second straight Big East championship. They lead UConn 69-49. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
Class, today we're talking NCAA championships and life lessons. Schoolwork got you stressed? Feeling overwhelmed? Need a place to unleash a quick hearty yell? Yeah! You gotta get off the couch and join thousands of screaming fans who are heart-pounding in-person to believe NCAA championships. Attendance is encouraged. Passion is mandatory. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Will this be on the test?
Oh, sweet child. This is the test.
What's the impact of hiring the right person for the job? Someone who simply doesn't fill a role but elevates it. Indeed, sponsored jobs can help you connect with candidates who have the right experience and a proven track record. Find people who don't just complete tasks, they transform how work gets done. Don't leave hiring to chance. Sponsor your job posting on Indeed and match with the right candidates. Sponsor your job at Indeed.com/credit.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
Let's check the schedule of games coming up on Westwood One, sponsored by Straight Talk. Tomorrow across our network, we'll have the finals of the Ivy League with the Penn Quakers taking on Yale. Also, SEC and American conferences, and of course, Selection Sunday. Every now and then you find a deal where you get more and pay less. Now, that's a good deal. That's Straight Talk Wireless on Verizon's 5G network. Find it exclusively at Walmart and straighttalk.com. 20-point lead for St. John's coach, 3:26 to go.
Just when it seemed that Connecticut was making a little bit of a run, they were having trouble getting it much under 10, but they were kind of lurking there, and Dylan Darling just took over 6 straight points, and then Zuby Ejiofor, it seems all night, Scott, every time that Connecticut would break down the perimeter defense and get somebody going to the rim, Zuby would just erase it.
Well, 7 blocks will do that, right?
Absolutely.
We were talking about that. That's a lot. It's one shy of his career high. He did it in back-to-back games earlier this year, but 7 blocks in a game is an awful lot of blocks in a game.
A couple of them of the spectacular variety also. or he's run down players from behind. He got one strong one on Terrace Reed, but other than that, so many of them were when he was the help man coming from the other side or tracking a player going to the rim who thought he had an advantage situation. Oh, look at this.
Pushing and shoving between Malachi Smith and Oziah Sellers. Sellers made the last shove, and he took out a call for a technical foul.
I think he called technicals on both of them.
Okay, good.
But Rick got Sellers right out of the game. He's really upset.
Yep. Technicals on both sides in an inbound. By the way, the Big East tournament record for individual blocks in a game is 8, held by 3 different players, one of whom is Alonzo Mourning, also Jeremy McNeil, and Eitan Thomas. 3:19 to go. Connecticut got the ball back. They're down 20.
Zuby stays in the game. He's going to tie that.
You know he's going to try. Ball bouncing it on the outside for Caravan. Now they loop it inside, and Reed gathers himself. His layup is no good. He wanted a foul call, didn't get it. And St. John's down with the rock. 2:58 left to go. In all of its history, St. John's had never won back-to-back Big East tournament championships. And it's not just the tournament championship, it's the regular season and the tournament championship.
Well, they hadn't won one since 2019, and they won last year.
Ejiofor just hit another three-pointer from the top.
It's been that kind of night when you got 2 players both shooting under 30% from 3. Zuby Ejiofor and Bryce Hopkins making threes.
18 days ago, the final was 72-40. Right now, it's 72-49. Is this an answer from St. John's?
Whether it's an answer or just a statement tonight, it was very convincing.
Reed from in close, it goes all the way down and then bounces back out. And you can see the frustration on his face as he walks back.
Danny Hurley's about to clear his bench.
Malachi Smith is all over Darling. And it'd be a good job to clear the bench right now because there's no reason for that right now. This game is long since decided. 1:48 to go. St. John's bouncing. And now Ejiofor lost the basketball. Smith going to run it out with ball. And then he lost the basketball. And it's taken back by Dylan Mitchell.
The 2-on-1, he was trying to get the ball, a solo ball. It was wide open. But Malachi Smith lost it on the dribble.
Darling just made Smith look silly, bouncing it past him and driving past him. St. John's going to try a 3. That's no good. Mullins got the rebound. 1:18 left to go. 72-49. There could be a foul call on Darling, who's going for a steal.
It's not exactly clearing the bench, coming back with Ryder and Ross.
How about this one? If I could sell you on this one, Coach. 7 blocks is a Big East championship game record. How about that one?
I'll take it because I don't think Zuby is long for this game.
There's a lot of chest bumping going on among the St. John's players. Hopkins just got his curtain call, and he's making the most of it.
Well, he deserves it tonight. He can jump up and down all he wants. He's earned it. Bryce Hopkins was magnificent. I would really struggle if I had to pick between him and Zuby for MVP of this game. I'd give Zuby the edge because of the 7 blocks. But Bryce Hopkins was the guy that kept them in it early second half when Connecticut made their first real run.
Malachi Smith makes 1 out of 2 from the line. Ejiofor grabs another rebound. That adds to his total for the night. He's got 9 of those to go with 18 points. Oh, and 7 blocks. Darling still bothered by Smith. They're still going at one another with 1:02 left to go. Darling jump stop in the lane. Missed on the shot. Fight for the rebound. Hits the floor, and now you're going to get a foul call on the rebound. I think Ruben Prey, who got hit, is going to end up getting called for the foul after the ball hit the floor. They're going to walk it all the way back down to the other foul line.
This may be the Zuby curtain. Nope, getting Dylan Darling first.
And Darling gets a big hand from the crowd for his 8 points and 5 assists and stellar defensive work all night long.
Dylan Darling does so many things that don't appear on a stat sheet. Tonight he did. That 6-point run was really important by Dylan Darling. That took any chance that Connecticut did have of getting back in the game out of the picture.
Second free throw is good for Malachi Smith, who remains in the ball game. 72-52, 51 seconds to go. Smith got a steal. Driving layup is no good.
That was almost block number 8 by Zuby.
It was. He got close. Ball goes back out of bounds off of St. John's. Connecticut will keep it. 47.9 seconds to go. Off the inbound, Ross. Deep foul line jumper is bothered by Ejiofor. It's no good. Rebound comes out to Smith. Malachi Smith tosses an air ball from the left corner. And UConn has it go out of bounds off them and to go back the other way to St. John's. Here comes your curtain call. Give it a listen for Zuby Ejiofor. Zuby Ejiofor, as they chant his name, comes off. Averaged 1.2 points and 1.7 rebounds in 2022-23 at Kansas. He came here, became the most improved player, and then the best player in the Big East. And he's going to leave with his second straight Big East tournament championship. St. John's just dribbling clock away. Sadiku Ibinayo has the biggest smile on his face you can imagine.
4 years playing for Rick Pitino. 2-year co-captain for St. John's. Sadiku.
He's on the floor. He's smiling at his coach. Game's not over yet. And I don't think Rick is going to smile until it is over. Off a miss. Here comes St. John's, or I should say Connecticut, back down the other way.
Jacob Purphy's going to dribble it out.
The crowd stands as one at Madison Square Garden. The St. John's faithful just saw something they have never seen before. Back-to-back Big East tournament championships for the St. John's Red Storm. And oh, by the way, is there a king of the Big East? 2 years in a row, regular season champs. 2 years in a row, tournament champions. Now on the way to the NCAA.
Very difficult to do. Rick had, I thought, an interesting quote before the tournament, and I totally agree with him. He said the regular season championship before this tournament started is harder to do. I mean, it's the body of work, against 20 games against all these people. But he was just absolutely incredible, and he's joining us now. I'm bragging on you saying how tough it is to win the regular season. In a sense, it's even tougher. But I'll tell you what you just did, back-to-back, both of them, almost impossible to do.
Yeah, and Connecticut is a great basketball team, but we were aggressive offensively, which we weren't at Connecticut. So you have to learn from your losses. It makes you a better team, and our guys were terrific tonight.
Rick, that ability to get out early in the game, you said the other day, defending the three-pointer like it was your life depended on it, but your team getting out long and setting the pace defensively early on. That's been the entire tournament.
Yeah, I think if you look at the turnovers at halftime and the turnovers for the game, steals for the game, possession, very much in our favor. We played a great game tonight.
Played an excellent game. I would have been hard-pressed to decide between Bryce. I thought Bryce Hopkins was excellent. Zuby has to get my vote when he blocked 7 shots, which is incredible. But talk to me about Dylan Darling. It's not all on the stat sheet what that young guy does.
I put him in the game and I said, and then he's trying to clear everybody out, go one-on-one. I said, easy stuff. Wait for the pros. Relax, take it easy.
So now here you are to get an opportunity to celebrate and cut down the nets, and then tomorrow you find out what the next couple of weeks might end up looking like. Every coach wants their team playing their best basketball at this time of year. You've won 19 out of 20. Are you playing your best?
Well, beginning of the year, we got off to terrible starts. We had to come back against Xavier to win. We had to come back against Butler to win. And we've been coming out of the locker room in this whole tournament in the first 7-8 minutes of the game like the game was going to be played in an 8-minute period. So that's crucial. So we are getting a lot better.
You and I go way back, brother. You've done remarkable jobs at a lot of places. What you've accomplished at St. John's in a very short period of time is absolutely incredible. Hats off.
Well, as you know, UCONN is second, Joe Lapchick before him in the 60s, 70s, 80s. St. John's was the team in the East Coast. And then I call it hibernation for a while, and then we came back. But we got the program back. Louis looking down at us right now with great pride.
Rick, congratulations.
Thanks.
Good luck, brother.
That is Rick Pitino, head coach of the Red Storm of St. John's, who just did it They win the Big East tournament after winning the Big East regular season for the second year in a row. And again, you can make a very clear case as the players are getting their T-shirts and championship hats, which has become standard fare following these tournaments. If you won 19 out of 20 games and the one game you lost was kind of an anomaly, you're playing your best basketball right now.
Well, particularly when you lost to a team that's going to be a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, then you just turned around. And if you want to call it revenge, call it revenge. But this team is playing as well as anybody in the country right now. And I'll tell you what, it's an incredible feat to win a regular season and Big East tournament in the same year. To do it back-to-back is amazing. We're talking a league, by the way. Everybody talks about all these other leagues with 18 teams and all that. In the last 11 years, 4 of the championships belong to this league.
That's very true. All right, so this is what you didn't want to do. It's time to select the player of the game, sponsored by CarShield. Car trouble putting you on the full court press? CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. Go to carshield.com, the easiest call you'll make all day. Again, carshield.com.
Well, I would have been leaning toward Bryce Hopkins for the points that he made when he made them. But Zuby Ejiofor with those 7 blocks has to be the player of the game. You can't. Zuby Ejiofor has had virtually a perfect year in the Big East Conference, and I'm not going to stop it right now. So he's my player of the game.
He's not only your player of the game, you just teed it up for me perfectly, Coach. The winner of the Dave Gavitt Trophy is the most outstanding player of the Big East Tournament, Zuby Ejiofor, for that marvelous performance over the course of the last 3 games. The rest of the Big East All-Tournament team, Bryce Hopkins, Dylan Mitchell, both of St. John's, Tarris Reed Jr. of UConn, along with Alex Caravan of UConn, and Bud Clark from Seton Hall.
I'm happy to see Bud Clark. Tarris Reed didn't have enough help today. He struggled himself in the first half. He's one of the reasons I got off to a tough start. I can think of those first 2 possessions of the game. They go to Zuby, he finishes inside. The next 2 offensive possessions, first 2 for Connecticut, they go to Tarris Reed, and he's unable to finish. That kind of set the tone for the game.
The backboards have been covered with championship signs. The stage is being constructed in the center of the court. We've got a lot more from here, but when we return, Jason Horowitz rejoins us from our studios. The final score, St. John's 72, UConn 52. The Red Storm are Big East champions. You're listening to the Big East Championship on Westwood One.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
When you're chasing a championship, every step matters. Getting to the top takes focus, discipline, commitment. What you put first defines you. At Werner, they put safety above all. From ladders and climbing equipment to proven fall protection, everything they build meets a higher standard. No shortcuts, no compromises. Because what you stand on should match what you stand for. Werner, the official ladder of NCAA March Madness.
Ah, the most beautiful time of year is upon us. Tax season. And Tax Slayer is here to help you file. We guarantee 100% accuracy